everyone, today is Thursday, the 11th of October, 2018. It's The Gap, episode 440. My name's Luke Lawrie. Joab Gilroy's here. What's going on, Joab?
Hi, I'm good. Yeah, just fucking the busiest week I've had in a long time. But and not even anything I can really talk about because yeah, it's just been weird. It's been a weird week. But it'll be worth it because I'm getting paid a fuck ton for it. So yeah, odd, like sort of separate to what we usually do. I
Right.
don't know. It's been weird.
Is this the Half-Life 3 thing you're working on?
The script for the game.
Yeah.
But we're not allowed to talk about it. The NDAs are pretty crazy, even though our good friend Eric Johnson, uh, you know, got me on board to talk about it. Yeah, it's just one of those things. We're supposed to keep it on the DL. Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, what about you? What have you been up to?
So we recorded last week, and I got off the plane basically from the US, and we recorded. Then we went out later that night, which we'll talk about later. And then I spent the next like 4 days having the fucking worst jet lag ever. I don't usually get jet lag when I travel.
I thought you said you like slept on the plane as well.
Yeah,
so...
I did. Yeah. But my
That's
body
weird.
was just out of whack. The same thing happened when I went to Stockholm, but it wasn't
Yeah.
as bad as this. Like usually by about, I don't know, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I'd be like, all right, it's fucking bedtime. Like I was just wrecked by then. So this happened for about 4 days, and I was going to bed at about 8 o'clock at night. And the thing was, I had like an embargo to do for Fallout 76, and so
Yeah.
I've got like, I'm waking up at like 8 o'clock in the morning, and by midday I'm fucking wrecked, and I'm like, I couldn't write because it was just, my brain was just potato at that
Mush.
stage.
Yeah.
So I finally got over it on like Sunday night, or Sunday afternoon, and bashed out like the article for that, and pretty much just, yeah, I've been okay since then.
I often wonder if we like misattribute jet lag to some things. Like maybe wait, did you have any like flu symptoms?
No,
Or was it literally just tired?
no, it's just tired. Yeah, yeah.
Like you didn't get headaches and shit? Because I've had like jet lag, right? Where I figured it was like there's like multiple different versions of jet lag I've had. There's the jet lag where you're just, super tired. But there's also like a jet lag where you've got like this massive fucking headache all the time
Yeah.
and you're super lethargic. Even when you wake up at, an appropriate time, you still feel like shit the whole day. And that feels like it's a completely different version of jet lag. It's like a different strain of the bug or something. So I wonder if it's plane flu or jet lag or. And then you've got obviously the proper plane flu where some motherfucker has been getting on the plane with H1N1.
Yeah, and they're sitting right next to you every single time.
Motherfucker in a tube. Yeah, and recycled air. But yeah, like I don't know. It makes me wonder, I guess. So no headaches. It was just tired, or
Just tired. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's weird, man. Because like usually if I sleep on the plane, yeah, there's no jet lag. And especially you stayed up like late enough,
Yeah,
right?
because
Like
the
I've
flight
got
out
my
of LAX is midnight.
yeah,
And so you get on the plane, you have your sort of midnight snack because you've pretty much had dinner by then.
yeah.
And then you fall asleep, and yeah, I think I had like 9 or 10 hours sleep and woke up and was pretty good.
That is like the fucking dream scenario.
Yeah, I think it's the case of it's such a short turnaround, like these trips,
Yeah,
that it's yeah, like it's barely a week.
whiplash.
Yeah, it's barely
Yeah.
a week. Because
Yeah.
I've never had the problem doing the LA, like Sydney to LA. I'm always fine going Sydney LA. It's cool. LA back is fine. I've done the East Coast a couple of times. Like that was my third or fourth time that I've done East Coast North America,
Yeah.
or fifth maybe. And yeah, it's been okay. It's just maybe I just went too hard this trip. My body was like,
Too
fuck it.
hard.
Yeah,
The fucking week-long hangover. You are getting old. Maybe the robot does age. Ah,
maybe.
maybe you need to defrag your hard drives.
I'll try at that.
Um, What was I going to say? I was going to. Oh yeah, yeah. You stayed up late enough as well, right? Like that's my thing is if I go to sleep before usually like 10 o'clock,
Hmm.
uh, when I get back in, then I will suffer the full force of jet lag. But Venom, like I don't know. I didn't even get home till fucking.
You piked it pretty early though, right?
Yeah, I piked early. That's what I'm saying though. I didn't get home till 11:30, and I piked pretty early.
All
So I
right.
don't know how the fuck you like. Yeah, I don't know. You should have adjusted, right? Sleep on the plane, staying awake unless you napped during the day like some sort of idiot. Did you
No,
nap during the day like some sort of idiot,
no,
Luke?
because we podcast and then like immediately went out and started
Ah, you were
drinking.
sleeping during the podcast. That's what it is.
Yeah, I
You were
can't.
napping while I was talking about Red Dead.
I can't do
It's
that
all
anymore
coming
though.
together now. Yeah, now that we got this webcam shit.
Yeah.
For those who are audio only, we're trying out webcam videoing. I don't know. Luke's got this fucking dream of turning this into a fucking YouTube
No, no,
podcast.
a TV show. We're
TV
gonna
show.
be on
A
TV.
5 hour long fucking TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for everyone at home watching, you
Yeah.
can see the Jesus photo up the top, like up right up there. Yeah, that's good. Next to your mirror,
Yes.
because that's not distracting.
And now you can see. Oh man, look at how messy it is down there. That's crazy. This is terrible for like the bulk of everyone who listens to our fucking
Yeah,
podcast.
the
So they don't fucking watch it.
99%.
Yeah, the fucking 99.9%, and they're like, this is fucking terrible radio. Yeah, well, it's been 440 episodes of terrible radio, so I don't know what the fuck you've expected.
Right.
Like, we're not going to change everything suddenly now that we got webcams. It's still going to be terrible radio. It's just now also terrible video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause the thing was, like, we started putting it on YouTube
Yeah.
about a month ago.
Yeah.
Because I know we've had people ask about it, and I don't know. Whatever. So started putting it up, and people have definitely been listening to it, and I was trying to figure out a way to make it more engaging, because it was literally just the podcast banner.
I
in a
don't
video.
know. We need like I don't. My theory is people who are like watching it in air quotes all the way through are just using it like it is a different way to get the audio stream. I don't think they're fucking watching anything. I think it's just on their fucking machine, like, and they're listening to it as opposed to listening to it through direct download or
Yeah.
listening to it through a podcast app or something like that. I think it's like I don't think we need videos to make it more interesting or anything. Although, like, fuck, let us know what you think. I just don't. Yeah, I think the icon is fine, but I don't have a problem with doing like I just think it's going to be more work for you to render out a video as opposed to rendering out an audio file. And you already fuck up rendering out the audio file 40% of the time. So I don't know. I just feel like we're chucking a couple of extra spanners into the mix
Yeah.
just to see what's going to fucking happen. And yeah, I'm okay with it. I mean, fuck it. Like, yeah, let's experiment.
Well, the thing is, like, yeah, it's not going to take much more work, because I'm not going to do much, like, I'm not
We already
post-processing.
know.
It's,
Yeah,
yeah.
it is going to look weird, like when I do have to go piss mid podcast, because we used to just like have you talk, but now I can't hear you talking because the my office is too far away from my bathroom, and so I like the Bluetooth. I think it gets blocked by something, or my microwaves, and
Your lead toilet.
yeah, the obviously it's the bathroom microwave that's doing all the when you
When you're
trying to
cooking a burrito in the bathroom.
quick burrito when they're having a bath. Yeah, it's so yeah, I can't listen. So you're gonna have like it's gonna like smash cut. I assume you're gonna do like every other YouTuber who like just cuts. Oh shit, that's what we should do. We should do like cut every time we pause for no reason and just like do that like that YouTube style where they're just like Yahtzee crocheting.
Yeah. And 1 minute you're on the left-hand side of the screen, and the other minute you're on the right. And I'll just cut it like in between words and shit. It'll be awesome.
It's genius. It's a brilliant plan. Yeah, we're gonna do it.
Yeah. And it also gives the opportunity for sponsorships, because today's episode is brought to you by OG Red Bull.
Yeah. Yeah, we can finally get that sweet sponsorship cash
In t-shirts.
in t-shirts. Actually, I'll wear a Gap shirt next. I've got fucking tons of
Don't,
Gap shirts. I've got
don't
so many Gap. Because when they were closing down in Australia, I went and bought a fuck ton of t-shirts because they just had shitloads of them. They were like $7 a pop.
Yeah.
Like, bingo bango. That's perfect.
You know, I could see that Sully's merchandising.
Yeah, like I can finally get some cash out of this fucking podcast shit.
Yeah.
As opposed to just pouring money into it like I usually do. Like just pouring thousands of dollars into it, which is what, I tend to do. And that's why it works out the way it does.
Yeah, right.
Buying a boom arm that taps on the desk every time I fucking move.
Yeah.
And a shock absorber that apparently creates extra noise. And you can see this fucking. I'm gonna stop
don't
pointing
do
to
that.
things on the camera. I'm just gonna stop referring to things that people could see. You've distracted me entirely with this entire fucking video concept. Yeah. Anyway.
So
Audio
YouTube,
podcast.
you can go to YouTube if you want to check it out.
You can watch
Subscribe.
it. It doesn't-
Definitely subscribe.
Totally
Click
subscribe.
that thumbs up. Smack it.
No,
Is that what it is?
We can get invited to things as the GA podcast. That's the dream.
Yeah, as opposed to
As
just us.
yeah, professional games journalists.
Yeah.
I think being YouTubers would actually get us more opportunities these days.
Probably. Yeah.
10-year veterans in the games industry. Anyway, yeah. What have we played? It says here Piffle.
Yeah, Piffle. You haven't checked this out, it sounds like.
I have.
Oh, you have.
Yep.
This is a mobile game from the team that did Crossy Road.
Yes.
Hipster Whale. Hipster
Right?
Whale?
Yeah, it's them and someone else, right?
Mighty Ape.
Mighty Ape. Isn't that the fucking... Don't they sell games in New Zealand? Mighty Games.
That's what I said, Mighty Games. You gotta listen
Yep.
better.
Yeah, I can see how that's my fault.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Piffle. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's basically you're playing a man who is dressed up in like a cat suit and throwing decapitated cat heads at blocks.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going with in terms of the story.
Yeah.
And
It's a pretty deep story.
it's pretty deep. It's pretty dark as well if you look at it that way. Yeah, and it's basically a puzzle game where you're throwing these piffles, these balls at blocks on the screen, and they basically bounce around like, I don't know, like a pinball, and they hit other blocks, and the blocks have sort of like health on them, and it takes a certain amount of hits to sort of make them explode, and then it's basically the piffles, once they get back down to the bottom of the screen, sort of the next level kicks in, and all the blocks move down another layer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's pretty much it.
It's a breakout game.
Yeah, it's like
breakout
Bubble
where
or
you
something.
Puzzle Bobble. No. Puzzle Bobble? Bubble Bobble? Bubble Bobble's the platform. Puzzle Bobble is the connector one.
Yeah.
But it's more like breakout where you've got bricks and you're bouncing things off the bricks.
Yep.
Right? And you've got a number of these piffles that you throw. The piffles are the little dogs that you're fucking pitching.
Are they dogs or cats? Like, yeah.
Furry animals. And so you throw and they bounce, and you as you go through each level you gradually get more and more of these piffles until you're throwing shit tons of fucking tiny animals at walls before the end of the level, and you're just trying to create as many bounces as possible.
Yep.
So have you played much of it?
I have played a lot of it. It's like level 90 something.
Level 90 something. Fucking hell. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a look at where I got to before I got bored and decided to go back to the real version of this.
Right.
The game that this is a clone of.
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to fucking blow your mind.
Is it like you're up to level 8 or something?
At 62.
Oh, right. Oh, no,
Yeah.
you need to keep playing 5 more levels.
5 more levels?
Level 67 is fucking broken.
Oh. What?
Yeah.
How did you land on that? How did you land on this level in particular is broken? Also, why couldn't it be 7 more levels? So then it'd be 69.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I felt like the game was pretty
that,
easy up until that point. Like every once in a while, I'd lose a life. Did you switch like the Batman signal on your face or something? What happened then?
My fucking My screen's turned off. I've got like power fucking
Right.
options or some shit turned on, like a fucking moron.
This is good.
And all my stuff just turned off. So I am going to keep talking about Piffle. I
Yeah.
don't
So
know
it's
that shit.
I found it to be pretty basic. At the start anyway. It sort of starts off with like square blocks, and it's got each one has 10 health, and then as you progress through the level, it's like, all right, you need to get 150 of these blocks blown up, and it kind of keeps scrolling down, and new ones are spawning in as you go through. And then they start throwing different types of blocks at you, like there'll be ones that start moving, or ones that spin around. There's like little like gooey blobs that your piffles get stuck in sometimes, and then if you don't actually destroy them, they start like multiplying, and more of them start coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's like exploding blocks, so once you sort of blow them up, they cause like a chain reaction. So they start introducing all these different types of mechanics in there. Even at level 90 something, where I'm up to, they're still introducing different types of blocks into the game that to sort of change it up. Yeah. Anyway, so I found that, yeah, once I got to 67, something like that level is not like, it is fucking either designed that way or it's fucking like broken. My thinking is they've put that one in there to make you spend the items in the game. So there are items that you can sort of use in each level. There is like a stop signal that basically stops the line from progressing to the next stage for one turn. There are what else is there? There's like a reshuffle, so it shuffles all the blocks and it sets like a new combination on the screen. I think there is one that gives you like more piffles. I think it's like 3 more piffles to start off with, because as the levels progress, you do pick up more and more of these.
Yep.
There is, what else is there in terms of? Oh, there's like a bomb that you can throw, and that kind of explodes and
A bunch
takes
of
out.
like just sort of takes out a bunch of blocks, and there's a hammer where you can surgically destroy
Yeah.
a specific block.
Right. Okay. So they're sort of like there's like 4 to start off with in each level, and there's
Yeah.
like 3 before you start the level that you can sort of initiate. Like there's like a guided glasses one where it shows you
Oh
where
yeah,
the
you can
the
like
balls are gonna land.
you know exactly where the
Yeah.
where the line is going to take
Yeah.
take you.
I think there's one that gives you. Yeah, there's the one that gives you extra piffles, and I think the third one is like, it gives you the like bowling balls, maybe.
Oh, maybe.
I think it gives you bowling balls, which basically do more damage per hit, because generally your piffles only do 1 damage. But
Oh no, those are super piffles, and there's the bowling balls are the ones that don't get
stuck,
gooed, right?
and they
Yeah,
do 2 damage.
right. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so I got to this level, and it is fucked. It's got these goo balls, these goo blocks, that basically, yeah, if you don't take them out, however much health is left on them, they sort of spawn off into another area, and it takes on half of the health. So if it's a 10 block, and you don't kill it, it spawns next to it, and it spawns like a 5. So now you've now got a 10 and a 5 to deal with.
Yep.
Anyway, so I'm going through this level. I must have spent like 40 fucking lives on this level. And because you get to a point where you've got like, I don't know, 15 piffles that you can shoot out. And there is one line at the end of the game that shows up, and it spawns like 6 or 7 of these gooey blocks, and they're all like 15 each. And I don't know how I'm supposed to deal with that. Like, because I don't have enough fucking piffles to like take care of them. And so, 3 more levels in, all of a sudden half the screen is full of fucking goo. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. So I must have done about 30, 40 lives on this thing.
Yep.
And I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do other than use these items that I've got. And then once I use the items, then I got past that level.
Right.
So I think that level is in there to fucking make you start using your items, because you're actually supposed to buy items in the game. That's how they're making their money, because it is a free-to-play game.
There are ads as well.
There are ads, yeah. I looked it up on Google, like, this game and level 67, and there were a number of people complaining about this specific level.
Yeah, really.
which is interesting. And so now I'm up to, once I got past that, I'm now up to 90 something, and I've not had a problem since then on any other levels. So yeah, it makes me
So
wonder.
so you reach the next spend
Yeah,
hurdle.
yeah.
Yeah, so I guess I could persist until I get to.
I just want to see you break the phone or something. Or maybe
I
I'm just shit and everyone else, like,
I probably won't because I'm actually very good at these games. Yeah, I'm gonna pitch. Yeah, playing a different game. It's called. Let me just have a quick squiz to make sure I got the right name. It's called Bricks and Balls. Bricks and Balls. It's called BRICKSN Balls. BALLS, and it is another Breakout clone. Exactly the same shit. It came out ages ago, well before Piffle, and yeah, it's like a lo-fi version of exactly the same thing. You've got usually 50 of these balls, and you send the balls up and you break the blocks. But the blocks are like in chunk, like the block. There's 50 blocks
hmm,
per brick, so you got to break 50 blocks. But you've got shitloads more balls, and yeah, they get like it gets pretty tough. That one
right.
gets pretty tough. There's no different blocks or anything like that. Anything like that. There's different shaped blocks, but it's otherwise it's just smashing blocks. And to me, it feels like a lot. It's a lot better than Piffle. Because
Right.
Piffle, there's quite a lot of RNG. There's the exploitative crafting mechanic that I'm not a fan of. It's designed to get you to pay money
Yeah.
and designed to get you invested in buying things from the game when it's just not necessary. It's like completely unnecessary. Yeah, there is like there have been a couple of levels where I've been like this like there's that one block, there's that one brick that you can break, and it will spawn,
Yeah.
I think, three random other bricks. And it can spawn extra piffles, right? Which
Yeah.
makes the rest of the level easier. But it can also spawn those fucking pink goo blocks.
Yeah.
And suddenly you're dealing with like shit that you, yeah, shouldn't really have
Yeah.
to. There's a bunch of RNG
I don't
involved.
know if they're random though. I feel like they've got set things that they're supposed to spawn into.
I'm pretty sure they're random because I'm pretty sure I tested it and saw
Okay.
them
Yeah.
spawn into different things, but I don't know. Maybe I didn't. I'm pretty sure they're random though. Yeah. So yeah, Piffle. Yeah, bricks and balls. I am up to level 295 in.
Okay.
Uh, you'll regularly start off with like 70 balls, and there will be bricks with like 350 uh bricks of 350 squares that you have to break, and you've got to create these massive like loops to sort of like make sure that each brick gets hit multiple times, or else you will just never fucking get through them. And so you wind up like really carefully working out where the fuck everything's going to go. There's like pixel collision, which there doesn't appear to be in Piffle, which means you can't just straight up aim at like aim the thing. You have to adjust. You cannot like even if the line says it will go past this corner,
Hmm.
if the ball would collide with the corner of the brick, then it's going to collide with it, which isn't the case in Piffle. Somehow you can like squeeze the line all the way up to it, and it sort of increases the complexity a bit. But better still is once you get like far enough into the game, you start to learn how to exploit that corner collision because it won't react the same way. Like the angular incidence and the angular reflection type science shit, I guess it would be math shit, comes into play. So if you hit the corner at a certain angle,
Yeah.
you can actually create some really like good like loops out of that. And so that becomes part of the strategy and stuff like that. And yeah, like I said, there's no different blocks or anything. There are power up type things, and it's ad supported, uh, but otherwise, Yeah, like you get like one that wipes away a single line, or you can get like extra balls, the same as Piffle. But yeah, oh, there's some power up icons. There's
Hmm.
one power up icon that sort of sends all your balls in a random spread, which is usually like it can be pretty annoying if you've got a plan of attack, how you want the line to go. But if you are sitting beneath it and you send it straight up into it, it can be pretty good for like really spreading out all your balls and just sort of letting chaos do its thing, which can be pretty important sometimes.
Right.
Um, and then there's the other one is like this line, and basically you shoot uh, a ball into the line power up, and it will send a laser out
Yep.
across the line, and it will do as much damage as like the laser does. So that's usually like they usually show up when you've got like a series of like 200 plus bricks, and either you create some spectacular loops to actually get rid of all those bricks, or if you can create one loop that goes through this laser a bunch, you can wipe out all the bricks at once. And then you'll be like breaking your way through to that laser, the laser icon, and then you'll accidentally send a single fucking ball through, and you'll have wasted it because as soon as it gets used on the next turn, it disappears, and you're like, cool, well now I'm fucked.
Right.
Yeah,
So when did this come out? I'm looking at it now.
bricks and balls.
Yeah.
I have no idea, but I've been playing it for a while.
Right. Okay.
Uh,
I'm installing it.
it's good. Piffle, like I've also noticed that Piffle, like all the extra animation and cutesy graphics and stuff, winds up like creating some pretty hectic chug at times. I don't know if it's just my phone is
Here's
getting
your
old or
phone.
some shit, but that doesn't happen in bricks and balls. And
Well, it looks like shit. So.
there's way more balls
Okay.
and way more bricks. So yeah, um,
Hmm.
yeah,
Does it have daily challenges or anything like that?
no,
No. Okay. I did one of those
but
today on Piffle, the daily
yeah,
challenge.
I did a couple of those. They were more my speed. I found the fucking regular game is just like early game bricks and balls. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I've already mastered this shit. Like, get the fuck out of here with this bullshit. Give me some daily challenge shit, and I
Yeah.
got to get like 190 or whatever. Like, yeah, that's more. It's more like it. Get me up on that shit. But yeah,
All right. Cool.
hmm,
Yeah. No, I'm enjoying it. Like I haven't bought anything in it, but
yeah,
I'll check out this bricks and
bricks
balls
and balls.
game, and we'll see what happens, eh?
Yeah, you're gonna next week. You're gonna be like, wow, so much better than Piffle.
My eyes have been opened.
It's like, what's a game that is like clearly just a really well polished version of another game? Because that's what this is. That's
Fortnite.
what Piffle versus. Yeah, basically, it's I'm all PUBG over here, and you're all like, "Oh, Fortnite, it's so cute. Oh, I love it."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
well,
All
touche.
right. So we move on. What else you got here? Lots to talk about today.
Yeah, Venom is bad.
Venom is bad.
We went and
Movies.
saw, yeah, we went and saw Venom at the cinema, and yeah, courtesy of Bethesda, they put on like a movie night ahead of some of their bigger launches, just to get it, everyone in and sort of talk to everyone and like get them, I guess, drunk before they watch a really bad movie, which is what happened with
Well,
Venom.
no, we got ourselves drunk.
That's true.
We knew what we were in
We
for. We saw the
we definitely
reviews
did,
before we
yeah,
got in there.
and yeah, it's not good, but we had fun anyway because
We
we
had
had.
fun. The lesson to be learned here, and we've said this many times, if you're going to go to a movie with us and the movie's going to be really bad, do not
Yeah,
sit near us if you want to watch the film.
if you're in it for the like, as much as we complain about dickheads who ruin movies by playing on their phones, we are definitely dickheads who ruin movies by heckling the screen.
Yep.
If they're like, I truly believe if it was olden times,
Mm.
we would be throwing tomatoes at motherfuckers.
Yeah.
for sure.
But to be fair, it was also a private screening.
Yeah.
It's not like a normal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're not loudly heckling during public screenings and
Yeah.
shit. Yeah, this was a private screening, and nobody seemed well. Actually, mostly people seem to appreciate.
The girls next to us are liking it.
Yeah. But yeah,
They
we
were
just,
heckling as well at some stages.
yes, they were. Which is, I think, at first our heckling was sort of just whispered between the three of us.
Yeah.
It was just sort of like, what the fuck is this stupid shit? Or like, what accent is Tom Hardy doing? And then it grew as we heard more people like murmuring. We just sort of, and also as we drank more and more because we got pretty drunk. Yeah, we got louder and louder, more boisterous. And yeah, it was good. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, the movie's pretty bad. I just don't understand how it got to the point that it did.
I think it was a Sony thing. Like, I feel like they had their fingers in too much of the editing and that sort of like you heard the stories about how like 40 minutes of that fucking film were cut out. There was a point in that film where I turned to the guy next to me. I was like, did they seriously just like, was that a cut? Like, what just happened with the editing right there? Because one scene was happening and then all of a sudden we were fucking somewhere completely different. I'm like, what is going on here? This is insane. It was a really bad edit. And then the end of the movie just showed up and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Is this the end? Doesn't it have like 40 minutes left?
Yeah. Yeah. I was very surprised when it got to the end, although I was also grateful because we'd run out of beer. So, yeah, it's
like, it's not Tom Hardy's fault. I think he was fine in it. It's just something happened with the story and the editing, and like,
I think he gets in love with doing these weird voices. I think that's the biggest problem is like they'll be like, Tom, you're one of the greatest living actors. We would love for you to get on board with this. What do we need to do to get you to do this? And he'll be like, $22 million. And they were like, shit, okay. Yeah, we can do that. Could we go for like 21 million? Because we got a budget and we got to pay other people, and we got to pay for CGI because it is a pretty CGI heavy production. And he's like, yeah, we can do $21 million, but I'm gonna do a fucking wacky accent.
Sold.
And they're like, yeah, okay, it'll save us $1 million. And then he's like, yes, and they're like, fuck. He's done this again. This cheeky Tom Hardy cunt. He got us again. Yeah, that's 100% what I think is happening with Tom Hardy. Because yeah, the voice he puts on, it's flat out obnoxious at times. I don't know what the fuck accent he's doing, but it's like it's consistent, but it's just consistently bad. Like he just seems like a whiny wiener ball. And yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's just weird.
Anyway, that movie made a fuckload of money.
Oh yeah, it's been making stacks of cash, which is crazy. I don't understand. Yeah, people are just going out in droves to see it.
Yeah. Anyway, it's not great, but I would like to see it a second time just to make sure I wasn't hallucinating the first time. Like, I like to watch movies a second time when they're really bad.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, did I just not get it?
Are you trying to trick me into watching Mother for a second time?
That's what it is, yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of movies, though, I watched Bad Times at the El Royale.
Yeah, right.
It's pretty good. I liked it. I think it's got a bit of a weak ending, but otherwise it's like a really good, small cast, not that many locations, but it tells a really good story really well. The dude who did it, Drew Goddard, did Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah. Cloverfield, did he write that as well?
Did he? That's a trend then.
Maybe not. Oh, he did Buffy stuff, I know that.
Maybe it's just really bad at endings for shit. Because Cabin in the Woods has a pretty bad ending.
I like that ending because it goes
No,
fucking bonkers all of a sudden.
everything, all of the ending stuff up until the actual ending is really cool, but the ending of that movie is dumb. I'm not talking about like the third act. It's got a good third act. It's just got a bad ending, and the same is true for Bad Times at El Royale.
Right.
But yeah, still, I'd recommend it. It's got a really good sense of style. It's set in like the '60s. It does like really like it tells its story very like subtextually, like it's not throwing everything in your face, and so there's a lot of discussion afterwards about what certain things meant, and uh, what that might have led to, and how that led to the certain events of the film and stuff like that. And
Hmm.
there's really good music in it, and yeah, it's just really well acted in general. Chris Hemsworth, one of
Yep.
the Hemsworths, I think it's Thor, um, is actually really good. Like he does. Been paying a lot of attention to accents in films lately,
Hmm.
and I think he does a pretty good and consistent accent.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah. So he did. He wrote Cloverfield.
Right,
He wrote World War Z and The
right.
Martian.
Bad ending, bad ending, good ending, and then this bad ending. It's a trend.
Yeah. Okay.
He's bad at endings.
He's bad at finishing.
I'm just saying. Yeah, he's got no finish. All right. That's movie. That's movies. That's our movies podcast.
Yeah. Cool.
What else we got?
Mario Party's on here.
Mario Party. Yeah. So we were watching the UFC, the fucking
Oh, the
Conor
fight.
McGregor Khabib fight.
Hmm.
Round one of that fight. Round two happened outside the cage. Yeah, so we're watching that, and yeah, so we had a. I thought a bunch of people were going to come around, but apparently not. So everyone fucking piked. So it was just me and Nate and our partners. But that was okay because we had Mario Party, so we played some Mario Party. I'm not a fan. It's out last week on Switch,
Right. Okay.
and I don't know if you've played a Mario Party before. I'm pretty sure you have.
I've played a Mario Party many, many years ago on like the fucking maybe the 64. Was that a
Yeah,
thing?
maybe. I don't know. But yeah, so basically it's a board game with mini games. I've never really been a huge fan, but I saw some decent reviews of this. I saw one middling review, but largely decent reviews, like positive reviews. Yeah, so I wanted to have a gaze. Yeah, I'm not a fan. I can see the appeal, but I didn't think the mini games were all that special, and like they weren't all that interesting. They were largely just momentary distractions, and the board game mechanics are overly reliant on stupid RNG bullshit, which makes it all feel a little bit pointless, I guess. I won, so let's not put it down to me losing and being salty about it.
Right.
Yeah, it's just sort of like you. I was constantly. I don't know. Board games have come so far, right?
Hmm.
So why are we playing basically a colorful version of Snakes and Ladders with some mini games thrown in? Because I just don't feel like it brings that much to the table. Um, yeah, so I don't know. I just didn't think that much of it, to be
Yeah. Right.
honest.
How long do the games last? Because
I think it took 50 minutes. They estimate an hour, but we got through it a little bit quicker, I guess. That's one. That's a short game.
hmm.
You can play just the mini games as well. We didn't have two switches with like two copies of the game, so we couldn't play the crazy combiner screen version. But
Right.
apparently, it's just for a handful of mini games. So it's not even that critical to the experience. Um, yeah, I just didn't think it did much very interesting. It was, like I said, an RNG heavy board game with some pretty dull. Like if it had the fucking mini games of WarioWare, like do Wario Party, that'd be fucking amazing. Because because the mini games in WarioWare are fucking hilarious
Yeah.
and like always super inventive, and they do like really creative things with whatever peripheral you're using. But yeah, this is just like really basic shit. Try to there's I don't know, like simplified versions of stuff you've seen better elsewhere,
Yeah.
and it's just sort of garbage as a result. I
Didn't
just
they
think
make like 13 of them at some
13
stage?
Mario parties.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they've made a fuck ton of them. I don't know why they're so popular. I don't know. Ultimately, hard pass from your old pal Jobo.
Yep.
Not that great.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
What else is here? There was something else. Worms.
Worms,
Yep.
WMD. Yeah. So after we got bored with Mario Party, Nate cracked out Worms, and
On like a laptop or something, or
not on the Switch. It's out
okay,
on Switch,
cool.
and it's awesome.
Hmm.
Like it's really good on the Switch. Like it plays, it feels like it plays really well. We're just passing the controller around, so it's couch competitive. But yeah, you know the Worms style. If you've never played a Worms game before, basically each team has a number of worms. We found the sweet spot was 6 worms on a large map, 4 teams, and each worm takes its turn separately, and you're trying to kill. It's basically deathmatch. You're trying to kill all the other worms from the other teams, and you've got a variety of tools at your disposal. So you know you've got a bazooka or grenades or a sheep that jumps around and explodes, or a banana that explodes into tiny bananas.
Hmm.
Yeah, so basically, you're trying to set people up to die, and yeah, it's just a really good um, version of the classic Worms formula. It's got a lot of options. There's they've expanded the arsenal over the years, so there's super versions of a lot of what you've previously seen. There's like variants on different different classics. Like there's the demon version of the uh, airdrop,
Yep.
not the airdrop, the fucking I don't know whatever the fucking bombing run is. There's a demon version of that that leaves like fire in its wake and stuff like that, and
Yep.
yeah, like just there's expanded variants on everything that you know and love, and so there's a bit of experimentation in there, but at the end of the day, it's just a classic Worms experience, and I think the Worms experience is just a lot of fun. Like, yeah, just think, and on the Switch, it just makes a lot of sense because you know it is sort of to me, it is that sort of couch co-op game, that couch focused experience, except when, you're specifically taking it at places. Like if I'm plugging the fucking Switch into a TV, then I'm doing it for couch multiplayer, right? Otherwise, it is purely a single player machine that I play fucking Zelda on, essentially. I mean, I still haven't even I don't think I've played Dead Cells on it yet. Hollow Knight is good, but yeah, otherwise, yeah, like just single player RPGs, right?
Hmm.
That's how what it is to me, like single player action RPGs or couch multiplayer. I think, yeah, Worms is one of the best, so it fucking works. It's good.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm surprised they haven't brought out a new one because that one's quite old. WMD, because I talked about it in
yeah,
March, I think.
right. March is not that long ago. Was it March 2016?
No, no, I'm saying that like because Nate and I were traveling and we were playing Worms at that stage, and I'm pretty sure it's an older game because I went back and bought it.
All right. Let's have a squiz, shall we? Worms 2016. Holy fuck, it was out in 2016.
Yeah.
Oh, well, sure showed me. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, it is an old game. Yeah, I am actually surprised. I wonder if they did anything different for the Switch release. I didn't notice anything, but I've never played it before,
Yeah.
so I probably wouldn't notice. There's an All Stars variant. There's a expansion pack, but it's just been released free for everyone. So yeah, I guess it came with that, and otherwise, yeah, oh, it's been out on the Switch for a fucking year. Holy shit!
It's been out for a while.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Yeah.
it's new to me.
Oh, it's cool.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
I enjoyed it. Yeah, it's good.
All right.
Cool.
What else you got here? Assassin's Creed Odyssey. We went to the Assassin's Creed challenge in Sydney. Well, at
Yeah,
least, yeah, we didn't go together, but we both ended up there at some
yes, we're
stage.
there at some point. Yes.
Because this was on the Friday, so after we'd gone out and watched Venom,
Hmm.
you got up at the crack of dawn to go and do the Assassin's Creed Odyssey challenge.
It said from 7 till 10, so I'm like, better be there at 7 then. So I got like this compulsion about not fucking being late to shit.
Yeah.
But if I'd read a bit more closely, I would have seen that it said arrive at any time. And I could have at least had a coffee before I went.
Mm.
And it was hammering down rain. And it generally sucked ass from that perspective. From the perspective of being up way too early,
Mm.
it was not an enjoyable time. But yeah, so at Metcalfe Park, once you got down there, it was actually a really good setup. I was really impressed by the setup. There was a tent that had a bunch of like the E3 demo playing on consoles. At one point, someone tripped over a console, like an Xbox cord, and ripped an entire Xbox down off the platform, and it
Gosh.
died on the spot. That was before anyone, like I'd been there for like 2 minutes, and I was the only press person there for easily 40 minutes. Yeah, so that was pretty funny. But yeah, apart from that, like I didn't play the game there because I'm not playing a fucking 70-hour RPG in a 15-minute burst when it's out that same day. That seems like an insane proposition to me.
Yep.
So yeah, I did go and check out the setup though. And so yeah, they had this obstacle course. There was a balance beam, there was hanging rings, then there was a climbing wall, like a mantling wall, and then I guess a rope climb, but up an incline, up a
Hmm.
slanted incline, not like a fucking straight up rope climb. And then you do a sprint, which I did not sprint through. And then you go up and you do your leap of faith. And yeah, so that was the process. I got there, they were doing like a bunch of promo shit.
Hmm.
So there was Paul Gallen, who did not do any of the actual um, obstacles himself. He just sort of stood near them. There was a parkour expert. Uh, my favorite thing about the parkour expert was he was like pitching that like this idea for how they intro, and so he was like, "Oh yeah, I'll run up, and I'll jump up, and then I'll do a flip, and I'll say hi, Paul." And so he pitched, and like when he was pitching it, he actually did a flip, and then he like went through all the motions of what he was going to do, and Paul was like, "Yeah, that sounds awesome. Let's go with that." And so they were like, "Okay, filming." And so he ran up, and then he fucked up his flip, and then he fucked up his flip like 6 times, and Paul Gallen was getting very upset. Which, what else can you expect from the captain of the Grubs? The Blues captain. Of course, he'd be a bit grubby.
Hmm.
Just trying to do a flip. You do a flip, Paul. Couldn't. But a fucking Queenslander could do a flip. You grub. Anyway, so eventually you got the flip correct, and yeah, so that was pretty good. There was I think is her name Sam Kerr, the Aussie soccer player chick. She was there. There were some other football players I didn't recognize. Uh, about it.
Yep.
Some influences came through. I didn't recognize any of them. And yeah, eventually everyone like they finished filming all their promo stuff that they were doing for Instagram or whatever. I'm like, cool. I'm just gonna go through the fucking. I'll go through and do it, and then I'm gonna go, home. I'm like, cool, do it. And so yeah, I ran up there was two balance beams. They had like a easy and a hard version of everything. And so the hard balance beam you had to run up to about, I guess, waist height,
Hmm.
and then you'd walk across the balance beam, and then you'd go down. Uh, they, I did it once and slipped when I got to halfway through, and they were like, "Joe, maybe you should just do the little one because we're pretty afraid that you're gonna hurt yourself." I'm like, "Fine." So I
Then
did the
why the
little
fuck
one.
have you got this balance beam here then?
Well, it was hammering down rain.
Ah,
See,
okay.
like,
So you're
so
on nightmare mode then, not hard.
yeah, I was. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So, and I just wanted to get it done, and I'd been waiting for it to stop raining for a while, and I had essentially given up on waiting for it to stop raining. Yeah, it was all designed with a nice sunny day in mind, and it's not what happened, unfortunately. While I was there, I did see some pictures, and it looked like the sun came out a couple of times. It looked like it was pretty cool during those portions. Not for me.
No.
So I went across the balance beam. I got 9/10 of the way across, and then I fell off because I wasn't paying attention. And it actually was pretty slippery, and I was in my Kobe's, and they're not really well suited for anything wet at all. It's like as soon as water enters the equation, those shoes become ice skates. It is terrifying. It's constantly terrifying. Every time I wear them out, and I like my problem is I don't have any other shoes that I could really do that sort of stuff
You
in.
got your KDs behind you. You could have.
Uh, those
Yeah.
those are LeBron's dickhead,
Oh,
and I
okay.
would never take them out in the rain. Yeah. So yeah, I didn't actually. I haven't worn them in the wet, but I suspect all basketball shoes are gonna fuck me like that, right? Like I like working out in basketball shoes because the ankle support. But yeah, they do seem to shit the bed as
Hmm.
soon as there's water. Um, that's fine. It doesn't like it's not a huge deal breaker except when you're trying to do an obstacle course in the rain, and that actually doesn't come up as often as you might think. Anyway, so I got across 9/10 of the way, and they're like, "Do you want to try again?" I'm like, "No, I'll just move on." So I went on to the rings, and I got to the. There's a technique. There's a technique to swing across rings that I had not thought, like I had not considered initially. So I did the hard mode rings.
Hmm.
If you want to do rings, right, you've got to actually, you don't like hang. It's not like monkey bars, right?
Yeah.
Monkey bars is pretty easy. You just sort of like move yourself across, right? And you can hang like a monkey with your arms all the way down. But if you're trying to do rings, you gotta keep your arms sort of at 90-degree angles. Because if you don't do that, right, it's actually really hard to keep momentum. If you're just straight up, you just sort of lose momentum. Your center of gravity, I think it's your center of gravity is too high, and so you counterbalance your own fucking momentum, and yeah, it becomes very hard. So if you like go 90 degrees with your arms, you can actually swing a lot easier. And I did not realize this when I tried to do the hard mode rings,
Hmm.
and so I immediately slipped off. Also, again, it was pissing down rain, which made it significantly more challenging. But yeah, when I went to the easy ones, yeah, they were like, "Oh yeah, try like bending your arms." I'm like, "Oh yeah, okay." So I did that, and I skipped. I just skipped every second ring. I got three-quarters of the way across, and then I slipped off. And I could actually, if I went straight up with my arms, I could actually just walk across the rings. Like I could hold the rings
Yep.
and just walk straight across. So it wasn't that big a drop. Um, so I did that. That's how I got across that. And then we did the mantling wall, where you like it's got climbing pegs and you climb across the wall sideways. I did that. That was pretty easy. I didn't fall off that one. I actually completed one of the obstacles, which was wild, amazing. And then,
Which wasn't the sprinting one.
yeah, then we had the rope climb up the 45-degree angle, and that was excessively easy. I did the hard mode version of that, but I can't understand how there'd be an easy mode version. You literally just walking up a hill with a rope, easy peasy. And then the sprint, which I did not sprint, and then I got to the leap of faith, and they're like, "Okay, are you afraid of heights?" I'm like, "Why would I be doing the leap of faith if I was afraid of heights?" And they're like, we got to ask. We got to ask all these questions before we can allow you to do this leap. Like, ask away. I'm not afraid of heights. And they went through, do you have a heart condition and all this kind of shit. It is a fucking 5-meter jump. It was not that scary. I could not understand why they were going through all this. It would have to be at least, I think, 6 times higher before I started to really like pack it in. I have jumped. Like there's a abandoned quarry back up in Brisbane where I used to live, and it is a 20-something meter drop into water, and you have to jump quite far out, lest you hit rocks before you hit the water. And I've done that a bunch of times. Yeah, bring it on. 5 meters, good God. They had this big fucking pillow thing that you jump into, like a stunt mat, right? That like stunt dudes fall onto and whatever, so that they don't hurt themselves when they fall from high places. And I reckon I could jump down 5 meters without that. Like, I wouldn't want to, but I reckon I could do it and probably be mostly okay. Like, it just wasn't that high. Anyway, yeah, so I get to the top and they're like, okay, time to do the jump. And I'm like, cool, let's do it. I was the second person of the day to do the jump.
Yeah. That's what you want to hear.
Yeah. Woo! Fantastic. So I get to the top and I jump off and yeah, splash into the cushion. Everything's pretty good. And then all of the water that's been sitting on top of the cushion pulls in on me, because I guess where else would it fucking go, right? And so then I'm sitting in a giant inflatable pool of water, and I go from like pretty wet, having been standing out in the rain, to drenched, like properly fucking soaked.
Yeah.
And that was unpleasant. Anyway, I get out and they're like, "Oh, yeah, we didn't film it because they took like a video of you doing the jump."
Right.
Like a boomerang video, I guess. And they're like, "Yeah, we didn't have our stuff set up. You were supposed to tell us before you were jumping." Like, okay, I didn't. Yeah, I can see how that's my fault. Sure. Anyway, so yeah, so they sent me back up to do it again. They're like, "Oh, do you want to do it again?" I'm like, "Well, I can't get any more drenched."
No one's gonna believe me by telling them this. I need the proof.
So yeah, I went back up and did it again.
Cool.
Pretty good. And that's about it.
Yeah.
That was my obstacle course experience.
Right.
It was good fun. Like, I think they put on a really good activation. Like, it was a really good idea, and I think it was executed pretty well. Obviously, they can't control the weather, but people seem to enjoy it regardless. I learned something about swinging on rings, and yeah.
Yeah. So I got down there at 9:30,
Right.
which was 10 o'clock, I think, was when it opened for the public, and it was through like a ticketing system on like Eventbrite or something like that, where they were.
Yeah.
It was free, I'm pretty sure. It was just like hey, register a ticket, you'll get a time slot or something like that, and come down, whatever. So I got down there, and yeah, it was pouring down rain. It was ridiculous. I had my umbrella, and yeah, same setup. I took a couple photos and whatnot, and by the time I was done, it hit about 10 o'clock, and yeah, man, there was a line. Like, there was people lining up already. maybe 30,
Wow.
40 people waiting in the rain to jump into
Yeah.
this course. So it definitely, the weather did not deter them from coming along, which is cool. I
Yep.
guess people were pretty excited about doing it, so that was fun.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a good turnout. I thought it was good. I didn't go up and do it mainly because it was fucking pouring down rain at that stage, and people were already in there doing shit. And I was
Sure.
like, I'm good. I'm gonna take some photos and bail.
What a chicken.
Yeah. But anyway,
Yeah. Yeah, it was good.
otherwise, been playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Yeah, so yeah, I don't think everyone who went and did it got a copy of the game, but we did, and
Yeah,
I've been playing it as well. It's been tough finding enough time with all this other shit I've been doing.
yeah.
But yeah, I played about, I'd say, 10 hours of it so
Right.
far.
Okay.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I'm like 15, 10 hours. I'm level 15, I think, somewhere around there.
Right. Yeah. I'm
14.
level 12. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So that starter island can go fuck itself. Holy shit, what a terrible fucking starting experience. That is honestly one of the worst fucking onboardings I've ever had. I guess the only way it could be worse is if it did the fucking, which one was it where you played as the dad and then like it just was like, lol, start screen, you're someone else. Was that 3? Was that the American Revolution one?
The one where you're playing as a Templar and then it switches. I
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that
yeah,
one.
yeah.
That was a
You're
cool
nuts.
switch.
You are
You're
nuts.
playing as a bad guy.
That is nuts. Yeah, like 5 hours for that starting island. I want 100% of it because I'm like, I'm never fucking coming back here. So I'm just gonna.
Well, yeah, it's 5 hours to 100% it.
Yeah. What else are you gonna do?
You do the main quest and piss off.
Like, if you main quest the entire game, then you run into the point where you're like seriously under level for
There
everything you
is a
come up
lot of
against.
shit to do in this game off
Oh,
of the main island.
actually, speaking of that, last week, I think I was criticizing Assassin's Creed for being too cluttered. But Odyssey has exploration mode where it turns most of that shit off for you. And it's fucking awesome. So I wanted to retract that criticism. I'd only seen it played without exploration mode on. Or it's, I don't know if on gets rid of all the icons or off gets rid of all the icons. But
Right.
like, there's a version of playing that game where you can turn all that shit off and you sort of just have to like work out where to go based on using the map and using your own fucking wits. And I think it's fucking sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a good idea, and it's like really well implemented. So yeah, I will retract that specific criticism, but I still have other criticism.
Oh, yeah.
When I was on the starter island, I had this fucking bounty, this level 5 dickhead, rolling around,
Yeah.
and he would show up while I was midway through a mission, and it's not like the missions aren't phased out of the regular world. So I'm sitting there like trying to fucking complete some, kill some priests or some shit. And this fucking dude rolls up and he's like, "Oh, I'm the fucking bounty hunter. Time to get you." And he's level 5. This motherfucker 2 hits me. He shreds my shit. And if I try to hit him, I do fucking nothing. So I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. So I die and then I reload. And the dude is like 4 steps away from me on the fucking checkpoint. I'm like, I'm fucked, aren't I? I had to fucking kite him about and use 40 fucking arrows to shoot him in the fucking face until he died. 40 arrows in the face, by the way, only got him down to like a third of his health left.
Well, he's got a big head.
He still had 33% left of his fucking health. He'd been pinged in the fucking face 40 times with arrows. And these were souped up arrows. They had like this fucking predator arrow ability where like I can control the arrow, but if I just like regularly fire the arrow,
Yeah.
it still does like 200% damage. So
Yeah.
I was like fucking hammering this cunt with like the souped up arrows. It did fuck all. I still had to finish him off. It took me 15 minutes to kill him. Like, seriously, walking backwards and shooting him in the face and just fucking plink. Plink, and then I got all that done, and then like, oh god, and I had to chop him to death.
Hmm.
Oh my god! And that took fucking 4 minutes on its own. The
Right.
other 11 were me plinking this fucker with arrows over and over and over again. It was terrible. But I had to do it because I could like my only choices were to run away mid mission, which I think would have cancelled the mission, and I didn't want to do it all again, or do this.
Yeah.
Those are my options. That's terrible. It is a terrible introduction to the bounty hunting system. Now, later on,
Yeah.
I got to like when I think hit level 10, I hadn't encountered a single other bounty hunter. So I just walked into a town, and like there was this town where I had to kill the leader of the area.
Yeah.
It's one of like the first time you do that. I walked into this town. I just started stealing shit in front of people until my bounty hunting, like rating,
Yeah.
my
It's like a
my
wanted level.
yeah, my wanted level went up to the point where they started sending bounty hunters at me. And then, yeah, that was perfect because then I could just murder the bounty hunters. And some of them had some pretty decent gear. So
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
worked
it's
out
a,
pretty
it's
well.
it's a weird system, eh? It's like because it was in the last game in
Right.
Origins, but not as sort of fleshed out as this. Well, I think the system in it at the moment's not very fleshed out. Um, it's a rip off like the Shadow of War, right? Like the
Nemesis.
Nemesis
It's
system.
like a half-assed Nemesis system for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so I had at one stage um, three bounty hunters after me.
Right. All at once.
Yeah, all at once, and I'm not sure what I did to piss them off that much. Because it just seems like you do stuff in the world, and it's like, hey, kill this, as you said, priest or whatever, and you do those things, and for whatever reason, sometimes that stuff triggers these bounty hunters, like, oh, you've been caught for murdering, and other times it's like, no, that's cool, bro, just you're right.
Don't worry about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and
There you go.
so at one stage I did something. I don't know what the fuck I did, but it went from 0 to 3, and all of a sudden I'm fighting three fucking bounty hunters, who are, at the same level as me, but they still take a lot of damage to.
Shouldn't have fiddled those kids, Luke.
Shouldn't have touched them to do.
What'd you get?
And yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's a bad system. It just doesn't add much to the game at all, other than getting you loot. Um, they they sort of just come after you, and like when they're in your vicinity, they're sort of just around, and you can sort of just go up and like stealth attack them. That'll take
Yeah.
a chunk of damage down, but then it's pretty much like, all right, fight them now.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like the Nemesis system, whereas if you die in that game, then they become stronger and level up. That doesn't happen here. It pretty much just reloads the checkpoint and off it goes again.
And what bugs me is that they could do it that way. Like, because technically you're reliving the memories of your ancient ancestor or whatever the fuck
Yeah,
is the grand plot of Assassin's Creed.
I don't know what the story is. I'm so lost.
It doesn't matter. I don't care. Yeah, but because you are, right, couldn't you technically, if they do kill you, they become more powerful, and like they like upgrade or something,
Hmm.
and it would represent like the memory of them being more powerful than you initially remembered because they had been the one to, that they technically killed the simulation, so the simulation rewrites it so that they're technically a captain or
Yeah,
something like that. Like they could totally justify it from a fucking um, story perspective, but yeah, for whatever reason, instead they've implemented what I think is just a half-assed nemesis system.
yeah,
And yeah, like I'm not a fan, and like
yeah,
it's a good way to get some easy loot uh, from dudes as they literally just walk into you and you murder them. Uh, but yeah, like with the predator arrow ability, the moment like they're nearby, I just go up somewhere high and then I just plink them twice in the fucking brains. And if they're not fucking 3 or 4 levels higher than me, that usually does them
hmm.
pretty quickly. Yeah, yeah, when I was level 10, I killed all the way up to the level 12 dude, and then I stopped because I'm like, 3 levels is gonna be a pain in the dick, and I have to sit there forever, so I'll probably just
Yeah.
stop there.
And I don't understand
Oh.
how it works in terms of like there's different tiers, but I
Yeah,
cleared the first tier and they're back again. Like I'm
are
up to
they?
the next second tier,
Yeah,
and you can trigger. I think it's left trigger or left bump or whatever you're using to play on, and it goes back to the first tier, and they've like come back again, which is the same. Like Nemesis System did that,
yeah,
but I don't like. Am I supposed to go back to that area and then can I kill them again or something? I don't know. It just doesn't explain it very well. Um, the other thing is like there are factions set up, or leaders where it's sort of like Spartans versus who's the other side? Athenians or something like
yeah,
that. And um, the way that's set up is really weird and janky because it seems like each area is like, all right, this area is controlled by Spartans or this
yeah,
area is controlled by the other side, and you go through and you're doing tasks in this area, and that is lowering their sort of their faction's power and how much control they've got over the region. And then once
yep,
that lowers, then you go in and kill the leader, and depending on how much power they've got, it'll be harder to do. Maybe they've got bodyguards, or if they do have bodyguards and it's low enough, then the bodyguards will just leave when you show up. Just shit like that. Same sort of stuff as the Nemesis system. Exactly the
yeah,
same. But what I don't get is you start siding with the Spartans, which is who I'm siding with, and then you
yeah,
go to the next area and it's like Spartans own this area already. And then so you start doing quests and all of a sudden the faction power starts going down. You're like, well, I don't want that to happen because that's my side, right?
yeah.
And
That's
so what
like,
you do is you start fucking murdering everybody. The faction power goes down, or you burn their supplies, or whatever it is that brings the faction down. And you do that stuff because you're getting experience, right? And
yeah,
that's what you want to do. You want to level up, get experience, and then so the faction power goes all the way down. And then what you go and do is you can choose who you want to help. Um, and generally, there's like two flags on that faction area. Like one of them will be attack, the other one will be
yep,
defend. And depending on who owns that area, you go and pick like what you want to side with. So then I would go, I'd murder everybody in the Spartan area, and then I'd go
yep,
help the Spartans to defend the area, and the power would go back up again. It's just this
yep,
weird system that doesn't make a lot of sense.
yeah.
Like, why am I going and burning all the shit? Like, if I start siding with an area, I should be helping them as opposed to like there should be things out in the world that allows me to build up the faction power as opposed to take it away from them.
If they were to justify it right by like you install someone sympathetic to you in particular, right? So then right, you would go in and you'd kill the leader of the area,
Mm.
right? And install your own boss,
Yeah,
right? Then it would sort of be self-justified within the story, right?
yeah,
But it doesn't do anything like that. So you just sort of murder everyone in the Spartan side, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to help out the Spartans, and they're like, thanks, I guess, but if it hadn't been for you, this wouldn't have been necessary.
yeah,
Because yeah, you can only do it after you kill the faction leader, right? And then
yeah,
you can go. So if you were to just like, if you were to set it up, right, where you wanted to help out one team and you wanted to install your own Spartan boss in a Spartan area, make it like hard mode where you have to like you can go through and wipe out all the shit. But then when you install your Spartan boss, they sort of like have to build from the ground up again. They have to
mm.
build all that shit up again. Instead, if you were to go in and just murder the boss from the get go and install your own guy while everything's at full power, it'd be really hard to get to the boss, and like it might be a really tough thing to accomplish.
Yep.
But once you get it done, your dude is set up really well from the get go, and that'd be really fucking cool.
Yeah. Well, in
That's not what
Shadow,
happens.
no, in Shadow of Mordor, what they do is they're like, oh, your faction is under attack. Like you've captured this area, or it's
Yeah.
about you capturing areas, right? And then
Mm.
once you get them, it's like, oh, you're under attack now, and they
Yeah.
start throwing like different types of missions at you. Whereas this is just weird the way it's set up. It doesn't make a lot of sense, and I didn't realize it was happening until like the second area. So you get to that first part, and it's
Yeah.
and I think it's I don't know which side it was. I don't even remember anymore which side it belonged to. But I was just murdering everybody. And it was like,
Yeah.
well, who do you want to side with? And I was like, I'm going to side the Spartans. And so then I put them in power. And then I got to the next area, and I didn't realize that they already owned that area. But I'm just murdering everybody. It just
Yeah.
didn't like. It's the way it's set up is not. It's just strange, at least. Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I'm tempted to go like side with the Athenians just by default because the Spartans don't use shields, and fuck fighting people who have a shield in that fucking game.
Yeah.
It is so annoying. You have to like they will just stand there and block the entire time. I imagine it's like what it must have felt like for the AI to fight any Assassin's Creed protagonists in any of the series
old
prior
ones,
to Origins. Yeah, where they just like block constantly. You're like, for fuck's sake, this cunt won't stop fucking blocking. I just want to fucking do some damage. And you're like, yeah, well, block. I'm just gonna block. Don't worry about me. I win again. And you're like, fuck's sake, fuck this shit. The Athenians will block everything unless you R2 them. And it's just annoying.
I got shield break. So I just smash him in the face with a shield from now on.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have that skill. I'll have to find it and
It's
unlock it.
like the first tier in
Is it?
the middle one. What's the middle one?
Warrior.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I had the same thing. I was like, every motherfucker has shields, so I'm gonna go and get this shield break thing. That's the other thing is I don't like the tech tree.
Yeah.
Compared to the last game, like a lot of it is abilities, and it's hard to gauge whether or not you're getting an actual ability or like everything.
Passive or an active,
Yeah,
right?
everything is called
That shit out of
ability.
control. Holy shit. They just need to fucking put passive on the fucking my lord. Because you're like, yeah, well, I guess like I could really use a boost to my crit damage. So yeah, I guess I get this one. And then it's like, where do you want to assign it? I'm like, I don't want to fucking assign it. Just fucking give me a boost to my crit damage, damn it.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And other times they are passive. Some of them are passive, but it says
The
ability.
poison one, right? The poison one where
No.
you just like
Poison is an ability.
yeah. So I thought like you read the text of that one and it reads 100% like it's just a passive.
Yeah.
And then you go like and it's like you got to fucking apply this shit.
Yeah. But they're all called abilities, so you don't know whether or not, fuck, I'm going to waste a point on something that I thought was a passive ability, and I don't have any slots left on my skill wheel, or skill whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then you fucked. So, yeah, I don't... It's not labeled correctly, a lot of that stuff.
No.
I thought Origin's skill tree was a lot better. Like, I felt like there was things in there that I really wanted, and that was making me better. Whereas this one, I'm like, I'm just gonna dump everything into fucking assassin, and warrior. Like, I don't do much in hunter other than the predator arrow,
and different types of arrows.
Yeah, which is weird, right? Because the hunter one has its own separate wheel. Whereas assassin and warrior are like shared. It's so strange, and then I don't get how the armor works with the damage and how that's distributed. Like, is it per ability? That's how much damage you're doing. It's I just think it's sloppy. There's a lot of sloppy stuff going on.
Yeah, a lot of confusing stuff. I do like the Spartan kick.
Oh yeah, I kick everybody.
And you can use that to like disrupt people from blocking, which is good. And it's especially good to Nate was talking me through luring much higher level bounty hunters up to high areas and then kicking them off. And sometimes it might take a couple of kicks, but you can just like kick dudes to death.
Yeah,
you dodge once and then kick them off the mountain, and then you can go loot them at the bottom of the fucking mountain. And then because fall damage doesn't like scale to your level like sword damage does, or whatever the fuck. So yeah, you can kick cunts off. Like, they'll take a tiny amount of damage for the kick itself, but when they make impact with the ground, they'll take a regular amount of damage and they fucking die. And it's awesome. Yeah, I like the kick. It's a cool move in general, I guess. But yeah,
I kick a
I don't
lot.
like the loot, man.
Yeah, they got this like a lot of Destiny stuff in this game.
Like, yeah, they've got tiers of loot. I I'm I've constantly got new loot. I don't know if I'm supposed to have to inventory manage at some point, where I'm gonna have to like delete a bunch of stuff or whatever.
Yeah,
Uh,
so it's the same sort of system as Origins, where you get like different types of gear. I've been dismantling pretty much everything that's regular loot,
yeah.
and anything that's like a rare or that, I sell it.
Is there a fast dismantle?
No, it's
There
just,
needs to be a fast
you got to
dismantle.
hold it on
Yeah,
each one. It takes ages.
it's pretty annoying.
Yeah, because you get resources out of that, and then you spend those resources to upgrade your boat.
Yeah,
That's what I do.
yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like I've got way like shitloads of money already. I've got like 15 grand.
Yeah, like a lot of
I haven't
the.
sold anything.
Yeah, you're probably right. Like I seem to be running low on wood all the time to upgrade
Right.
everything. Um,
You get a
yes.
lot of wood picking stuff up out of the water.
Oh,
That's
really?
and smashing boats. Yeah, you get a shit ton of wood.
Oh, should get.
Um, yeah, I like the boat stuff.
Yep.
Obviously, it's not cannons, but it is a pretty good representation of the Black Flag sailing system. A
Yep.
little bit more annoying, I found, like a little bit less intuitive. I felt like you were better at sailing in general in Black Flag, but I guess it sort of makes sense.
Yeah.
The other flip side is no sea shanties. I don't like the shanties, the
Yeah.
Greek shanties. I'm not a fan. I'd prefer it if they just shut the fuck up and we could sail in silence. But I don't know. I'm supposed to pitch that to the guys, so we'll probably just have to listen, sit there and listen.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else? Everyone's all like, oh, it's like everyone's always fucking in this game. People reckon there's like lots of fucking, but I haven't had sex with anyone yet.
Oh, I have.
And oh, I must just be a fucking just a incel motherfucker, incapable of getting any poontang
There's
or
this old chick.
penis spelled penal.
There's this old chick up on. Have you gone to the top left of the map yet? It's like level 13 or something. Level 11 or 13, or I'm not sure. You
No.
basically start off Starter Island. You go to the right, and then once you leave that part, you sail back off to the top, sort of left. It's sort of near the starting island again,
Okay.
but north of that.
Right.
There's a lady around that area who is like keen as shit, and she's super old.
Right.
And I don't know about you, but I'm playing as Cassandra.
So am I. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, there's some pretty choice options of dialogue in there that you can
Nice.
say back to her,
All right.
which is
You know,
fun.
scissoring up with an old lady. Some ancient scissoring. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I,
Yeah,
I've, I like the RPG light stuff, but I don't think it goes very far. I have noticed that like a plague took over the starting island because I failed to keep it in check at the start, which was good.
really.
But yeah,
Huh. I didn't know you could do
that.
that.
Did you go to a town on the starting island?
I 100% is starting on it. Yeah.
And there was these priest dudes, and they burned down a village.
I don't remember. Oh yeah,
No.
yeah, yeah. All the ash area.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and there was like a family, and the priests were going to execute the family.
Right.
I killed all the priests, and obviously the family infected literally everyone on the island. So that's sort of my fault.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
So, yeah, because there are a lot of like options in the game, in terms of dialogue as well, where it's like if you say this, like this is a bargaining thing, or this will attack them, or you know, get them upset. And I don't really know. Like there are some options in there where that has played out, or where I've done things in the world and then spoken to somebody else, and they've said like, "Hey, what happened to what so and so?" It's like fucking murdered them, and they've been like, "Oh, you shouldn't have done that." So I don't know how like that sort of stuff plays off later on if that comes back. Um,
yeah,
but anyway, it's interesting to see that sort of stuff. I don't know, man. Like, I feel like this game, I'm getting the same sort of vibe that I got from from like Tomb Raider, or Shadow of the Tomb Raider, the second one, where I played the first one. And I've talked about this a bunch, and I was like, that game was fucking really good. They just need to do a bit more. And then everyone played the second one and was like, fucking game of the year, that shit is. And I'm like, are you what? What happened? Am I waking up in some sort of silly land? Like, I played so much of Origins. I love that game so much.
Yeah.
I thought it was amazing. And then I'm playing this game, and everybody's going bonkers about it, and I am so confused because I can see a lot of problems in there.
I can see a lot of problems. I did not enjoy Origins all that much,
Right.
but I didn't really get that far into it. I just sort of like didn't like endless deserts. So as a general setting, I'm not a huge fan of it. So I just didn't like, yeah, that. But yeah, I can see a lot of problems with this. It's I find myself like enjoying myself while I'm playing it, and then getting kind of bored pretty quickly.
Hmm.
I like it in these tiny chunks, but I never seem to play it for that like all that long. I'll generally play it for
Yeah.
yeah an hour tops, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I just think it has a really good, really bad um, system for incentivizing you to continue playing. Because I see that like it's got this loot system that I don't really enjoy. I don't think it brings that much to the table. I've
Hmm.
got two yellow like legendary level pieces that I don't do anything particularly special. I think one of them needs to be in the set to do anything decent, but like yeah, it's
Yeah.
like level 11. So by the time I get the rest of the set, it's going to be
Right.
pathetic.
I think in the last game they would um like have special abilities or
I
like
want to see
special
like
moves.
Diablo style fucking cool shit
Yeah.
added to the, not just like a 20% bonus or your Spartan kick does a bit of extra damage is one of the things I've got.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit. I want to see like yeah, like Diablo style your what's the one the disintegrate one? Your disintegrate is now 3 beams instead of one. Or something like that. Like some shit that turns you into a completely different playstyle.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see. Like, yeah, this sort of better.
Yeah.
Not good enough. It's not good enough for a loot system to me. I do think it is symptomatic of the Destiny style of loot, which is, you know, not like they've read about it in books. They never really fucking. They should just go over to Blizzard and ask them how to do loot to learn how to do it fucking properly.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
The like the Destiny stuff is in there a lot. It's you can see like the contract system,
yeah,
um, where it's like you've got timed, uh, a time frame to sort of do all this stuff, and um, that is a little confusing as well because I'm like, I don't understand what is a side mission and what is just a daily, because
yeah,
there seems to be dailies, right?
yeah.
And then you look on the map, and so you're picking up all this stuff, and it's like, all right, well, what actually is a side mission? Like, what should I be going and doing? It's just a little cluttered. It just doesn't do a great job of explaining sort of what is a daily or what is a side mission or what is a main mission. That's a bit hard to gauge. And the combat, I think it's a step back from the last game. Um,
Oh,
it's gone back to the button mashy style of combat, and I'm not a fan of that. Because like in the other games, you'd sort of it was very button mashy, and it was
yeah,
that Batman thing of I can take on 30 dudes and fight
yeah,
all of them at once. You can't
yeah,
do that in this style of combat. It's got to be a bit slower, and they went for like the Dark Souls sort of combat in the last game. I thought that
yeah.
worked really well. Um, of managing certain like
Did you
managing.
have a stamina bar?
I thought there was a stamina bar.
Because you don't have one in
You don't
this.
have one in this, and you just fucking mash it. You just mash and
Dark,
mash.
yeah, Dark Souls combat without a stamina bar is fundamentally fucked. Like it is just there's no way that it ever fucking works
Hmm.
because the stamina is the resource that you're paying attention to. It's the resource that you can expend for certain things to
Yeah.
block, to dodge, to attack, and stuff like that. And that's what winds up giving Dark Souls its signature style,
Right.
forcing us to attack with R1 and R2 is yeah not really bringing anything different to the table. It's sort of just
No.
without the stamina, it's literally just a button mashing with a different fucking button.
It
You
had
gotta, yeah,
well, like it had those abilities on the bottom, that bar. I remember that, and the
right,
abilities and that sort of stuff. But I thought it had a stamina bar or something like you couldn't sit there and just mash the button because
Yeah.
that's literally all I'm doing. I'm just mashing the button, and then whenever someone attacks me with like a standard move, I'll just parry, and then
Yep.
if they attack me with a skill, then I just dodge, and it's not a lot to it. And if there's
Yeah.
two guys that come at me, then I sort of try and manage that. If there's three, then I'll backpedal and sort of take one at a time.
Yep.
Um, yeah, it's just not. I don't know. I'm not finding it as challenging as the last game, and I
Yeah, it definitely doesn't feel like challenging combat. But I did feel that, like, what I played of Origins, I did feel that you were punished too heavily when there was a level disparity, and that made me want to play it even less. This game does not need fucking 60 levels or whatever the fuck it is, by the way.
yeah,
I think you could get away with 10 levels. If you had 10 levels and, like, yeah, just fucking you scored points for going to leap of faith points, bird of prey points, or whatever the fuck you got skill points during exploration shit. It'd be
mm,
so much better because then like it wouldn't feel like the map is overwhelming.
it's massive.
Yeah, and you look at it and it's segmented by the levels, and you're like, holy fuck! Like I am so far out from doing
Anything,
anything.
yeah, because I'm 15 levels in. I've been playing for 15 hours,
Yeah,
and I've done like
I've
5% of the map.
barely done anything. And yeah, it's obviously it's extra hard. I guess we were saying this last week, but it's extra hard because I'm contrasting it with my experience with Red Dead, where I could go and do whatever the fuck I wanted, like immediately. But yeah, I just don't. Yeah, I don't understand. It's just too like
Yeah,
overbearing a leveling system. I think for
yeah,
what is ultimately not actually a RPG. Like it's still more action adventure game than it is RPG. Uh, so yeah, I think they're trying to do too much RPG stuff without wanting to commit properly
mm,
to it being an RPG. And yeah, because it's not like yeah, there's only a couple of stats. There's only like three fucking stats, right? There's warrior, assassin, and hunter, right? Those are your three stats that you
yeah,
increase. Um, yeah, and I guess they hide other stats because obviously you got crit and like that kind of stuff
mm,
that is sort of behind the scenes, but still, yeah, they just feels like a misstep. I don't know.
yeah,
My thing is I don't dislike it, right?
yeah. No, so
I just sort of like bleed out on it real quick. There's just stuff I keep seeing that could be better. Yeah, that's about it.
yeah, that's the thing, right? Is that I was pretty surprised when they announced this game. They were like, it's coming out this year because I thought they would go on to the like a 2 year cycle or a 3 year cycle. And that's sort of what I felt like made Origins so good is that they seem to give that a lot of time. Because the last
Yeah,
couple of Assassin's games were mediocre, and it was
yeah,
something different. I really enjoyed that type of game. Played a bunch of it, and I didn't feel like it was grindy either. Whereas this game definitely feels a bit more grindy. And then there's that aspect of the whole being able to buy an experience upgrade as well, so you can level quicker. That's a bit. I don't like that.
icky. Yeah,
Yeah, because sort of like how much thought went into, well, let's turn down the experience, or yeah, that sort of thing is something you don't really want to think about.
$10,000 spreadsheet.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Joab knows a guy.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a puzzler. I mean, as I understand it, they had like this was not developed over the course of the last year. This was developed in conjunction with the other game, and like they collaboratively
Yeah,
worked towards like a complete system. So I don't think this is necessarily like it's not back to the annual release thing. I think it's just a coincidence that happened to um, strongly resemble, but it is ultimately a
sure.
different game. It's sort of the Call of Duty one where you've got like Treyarch, and then you've got Infinity, the ghost of Infinity Ward, and then you've got Sledgehammer, right? And yeah, they all sort of do vaguely the same thing, but they all do it differently.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I don't think it's a bad. Like, I'm enjoying it. I just don't think it's as. I'm not having as good an experience as I did with Origins with it, just because I'm seeing all of these problems. I'm like, that could have been done better.
Yeah.
Or things like that. So
I just fucking hate shields. Holy shit! I gotta get this shield breaker thing.
yeah, it basically just grabs it off them and smashes them in the face, and then no more shields.
Perfect.
It's pretty good. I don't know. Is there much else to say? Pretty game. It looks pretty.
It is pretty.
Looks good in 4K HDR.
The horse is exceptionally dumb compared to Red Dead Redemption 2.
Okay. Yeah.
Look, like seriously, the auto fucking move thing in Red Dead is awesome, and in this it is so fucking dumb. So often it'll tell me I can't find a path, or like it's not available, or you can't get there by land, and you're like, how the fuck can I not get there by land? Yeah, it does that a lot. Meanwhile, in Red Dead, it's like you chuck a thing, like chuck a waypoint on the map, and it'll fucking find its way there, no matter what. And yeah, I don't know, it's annoying.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Surprise! Red Dead Redemption 2, really good game. Anyway.
Yeah.
PUBG.
Yeah, I played some PUBG. Patch came out last, I think it was Thursday, update 22. And this was the update to try and fix a lot of the problems, or the main problem that we've been talking about, harping on about for the last 6 months.
Yep.
Which is the issues with matchmaking, particularly in regions like Oceania, South America. I think there was one other region also having a problem. Anyway, OCE was a big complainer.
Yeah.
So they revamped the matchmaking. Basically now it's split up into, you pick your map. So there's like Erangel, Miramar, Sanok, and then there's a quick join. Quick join basically chucks you into the one that's got the shortest queue, or the one that's about to start next or whatever.
Right.
I played a bunch of solo 2 nights ago. I think I played 4 or 5 games, and every single game I got put into was Southeast Asia off the bat. Like literally no matchmaking, just straight into Southeast Asia. I played the first game, I got like 6 kills. Second game, I got killed by a hacker, blatantly cheating, just literally headshotting people from anywhere. I came second that game, or second or third, and he shot me through like a rock.
Cool.
And I went to like death cam, and it was just him standing in a field, just pinging people through like the ground.
Wow.
With the M24. So I reported him. Played the next game. And anyway, so I played that game, and then I went back to the main menu. It's like, this guy's been temporarily banned for a day. I was like, oh, okay, fair enough. So it was the guy I reported.
Cool.
So yeah, like something's going on with solo queue still. This was at I was playing between 5:30 and 7:30, which you would have thought it'd be popping by then, solo in Australia. Wasn't happening, and it wasn't searching, which is the weird thing. It was just I'd press quick join, and it would literally throw me in a Southeast Asia server.
Right.
Now the thing about this is that a lot of the other regions have been complaining about being dumped into servers that are not their own. Like, you can no longer pick what region you want to jump into. I can't say I want to play in OCE, or I want to play in SEA, or I want to play in North America. You can't do that anymore. It's supposed to pick your closest region, and then dump you in that. So the other regions have been complaining about being dumped into servers that aren't theirs. In particular, things like people in the east coast of America jumping in west coast, or somewhere in Europe, shit like that.
Yep.
It seems like there's something still funny about the matchmaking in there. In saying that, I jumped in last night and played some squads with the guys, and we played, I think, 6 games, and every single game that we played, we got into a Oceania server within seconds. And these were full servers, so
no, it can't be full.
I know
The population. Yeah, the population doesn't exist to have OC servers. So I'm afraid you're incorrect.
I am incorrect. Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, we I don't think, because the guys were saying that squads were working. Sometimes it'll dump you in a Southeast Asia server, but you just quit and rejoin.
Right.
But we played 6 straight games, no issues, straight into Oceania, no waiting time. Weren't waiting around for people to join either. It just worked. It worked like old school PUBG, which is good.
Wow.
So yeah, man, like, I don't know. They're fixing something, but there are still issues there with the matchmaking. I think the biggest problem is still the communication from them is shit. They're not letting anybody know, because you've now no longer just got Oceania, who were previously complaining about the issues. You've now got the entire world complaining about the same, like, not being able to join local servers, or like people from other regions joining their servers and shit like that happening. Like, I should be getting 22 ping, but instead I'm being dumped into a 200 millisecond server. Stuff like that. And PUBG Corp hasn't said shit about this, which is surprising. Right?
Well, it's over now.
Yeah.
It's over at the end of this week.
Yeah, but in saying that, right?
Hey, do you want to hear something crazy?
What's that?
I had a 60 gigabyte update for Black Ops 4 on my computer, which I believe is preloading the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not happening right now. It happened earlier today. Otherwise, I'd be a robot. Yeah, and I had to make room. So I deleted PUBG.
Oh, no.
Yep.
It's been replaced.
I deleted PUBG to make room for Blackout. It's not that I'm convinced that Blackout is 100% going to replace PUBG. And I don't think, I'd be surprised if it manages to take the same place in my heart. But yeah, I am that done. I haven't played PUBG in fucking ages.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so disillusioned with the entire fucking concept. But yeah, I haven't played it in forever. And yeah, I'm just not convinced that they'll ever fucking fix it.
Yeah, right. The other thing that they did with it wasn't update 22, I think it was 21. They changed the blue zone color.
Oh, yeah.
It's fucked now. Like, on particular, I saw some screenshots of, like, the comparisons between how it used to look and how it looks now. I think the main issue was that on Miramar, you couldn't tell where the edge of the circle was sometimes. Right. Like, it would just blend in with the orange background of the scenery. But the majority of the games we've been playing, by the way, we were getting Erangel games last night. I think 50% of them were Erangel. Right. It wasn't just Sanhok the entire time,
cool.
Which was good. Didn't play any Miramar, though, which is disappointing. But yeah, the blue zone, they've got this, like, hard blue color now. And you can't see inside or outside very easily. So I think that's a huge problem, because I think it's fine for if you're on the outside of the circle running in. But if you're already in the circle, you should be able to see people coming in.
All right.
And that's the issue, is that you're now looking constantly behind you, because it's really hard to see if anyone's coming up. Like,
yeah.
Before you could sort of peek, you could look around and be like, all right, there's no one behind me, I'm good. Now it's like, I can't see shit behind me. You're always looking like, is someone going to sneak up? That needs to be changed. I am so surprised that this last update didn't roll that back, because, well, no, I'm not surprised. It's fucking PUBG Corp. But yeah, like, I didn't immediately when I saw that, I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, just weird design decisions that I do not understand. And I went and looked it up, and I saw, like, some Twitch dude who got clipped on Reddit, and it's him being shot outside from the zone. Like, he's in the zone, someone shoots at him, and he just fucking flicks and starts spraying into nothing, and he kills a guy, and he's like, I literally could not see anybody. I was just shooting.
Wow.
Just weird shit like that, eh?
Yeah.
yeah, that's something that needs to change. Otherwise, like, the rest of it was good. Tried out some of the new weapons. They were fun. Like, I enjoyed playing PUBG again because it was fucking working, which is insane. We got 2 wins out of the 6 games, which is fun.
Nice.
Still got it. So yeah, man. Like, I enjoy playing it, but fuck, I hate the way they're carrying that game at the moment. Like, the way they're dealing with all the shit. It's just so bad. Like, their main communications guy left and went to Riot. He either got poached or he went back to Riot. So yeah, their communication is not as good. He was the guy that was doing like the weekly updates on the community, on the Reddit page, being like, hey, here's all the things we're looking into, blah blah blah. That's not happening anymore. Like, a lot of their communications team is being run out of Korea. And I'm wondering if there's like this language barrier. That's what's going on. Is that you've got all these community managers around the world, and they're sort of going through translators or something like that, or there's some sort of communication breakdown. Anyway, it's the communication's not great from their team the last 6 months. But Blackout's coming out literally tomorrow. Which I guess we'll talk about in the news, right?
We will, yeah.
Yeah, so Fallout 76. I talked a bit about my trip last week.
Talked about the trip.
The trip.
Not the game.
Not the game. So I can talk about the game now. The embargo is up. So yeah, Bethesda flew a bunch of people out to West Virginia to play Fallout 76. We played for about 3 hours. From the start of the game up until as much content as was get in by then. And yeah, basically it is set like 25 years after a nuclear war. You basically wake up, or at the start of this day, when you're leaving the Vault 76, and you're the first sort of inhabitants to go out into the world and like start exploring and populating it. So as opposed to the other Fallout games where you go out there and there are just people all over the place sort of doing their own thing, this is like, there aren't any humans. It's all robots. It's all weird creatures that are being sort of infected or being affected by the radiation and whatnot. So yeah, it's a bit of a different style type of game. It's interesting, right? So it's pretty much a big focus on multiplayer. You are, well, I don't know what you're doing, but it's getting weird. And nobody at home can see you doing this. Unless they're watching.
Goal.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So yeah, it's hugely focused on multiplayer. So you can join as a team and go out into the world and start exploring and doing quests and whatnot. It's very Fallout.
Sorry. From the get-go, teams of 4, right?
It's teams of 4, yeah.
24 players in a server?
Something like that, yeah. Huge map. Okay. The idea is that you're not going to run into people very often, or that's the way they kind of want it to be. It's sort of like the people that you run into, it's supposed to be unique or sort of rare experience.
No Man's Sky.
Yeah, like No Man's Sky. Well, it did no multiplayer. So yeah, we basically start off in this vault. I'll talk about my playthrough. It was myself. It was Adam Matthews, who is a freelance writer. I think he's been on the show before, maybe a very long time ago. Hamish from Survivor, and we had a Bethesda employee guiding us through specific parts that like, hey, we want to show you these specific things, or like answering questions and whatnot. So you start off, you're in the vault. You choose your character, you pick what they look like, that sort of shit. You leave your room and you start working your way outside of the vault, and you sort of find these tables that are spread out throughout the exit, and each table is numbered and has a bunch of items on there. So like, you'll pick up your Pip-Boy at the start, and then you go find some resources, and eventually you'll get to the special cards, the pack of cards that you pick up. And the special system now is every time you level up, you put a point into your special, which is, this is going to test me, strength, perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence, agility, luck. No,
Not agility. It's alertness, isn't it?
no, it's agility. Is it?
Are you sure? Are you
I
sure?
fucking hope so. I wrote agility.
Ooh, ooh. I'm looking it up.
Shit.
I'm googling it. All right, so yeah. Anyway, so you put a point in.
You put a point into special.
Yeah.
Oh god, now I'm freaking out. And yeah, and then you get these pack of cards, and they're sort of like your skills from the past games, where it's like, hey, you get I don't know, 20. You get a skill in
Oh,
lock.
you're right. Damn it.
Yeah, like you get a skill in lock picking, and this specific lock picking skill does this thing, or the stranger ability. Like 20% of the time when you use your VATS, a random man will show up and shoot someone for you because that's fucking creepy. He's the stranger though. So these actual cards are the ones that have these abilities in there. And it's sort of like a fucking collect them all game where you open these cards and they've just got stats on them, and like you read them out and they've got like this is a level 1 of this card, and level 2 and 3 have these different types of abilities on them, and there are like fucking foil cards and whatnot. So you start collecting these cards, and then you basically put the card that you want to in your special stats. So it's like, all right, I want to put a point into strength, and then so you level up your strength, and then now you can put a card into strength. And I think the maximum is 15 per
15 cards.
I think it's 15 cards per perk or per skill. So strength, perception, you put 15 in each one. I think. I didn't get that far into the game, so I'm not 100% sure.
I still don't quite understand.
So if you put a point into special, or 3 points into special, I think you can put 3 cards into that category.
It's just you put 3 points into strength, and you can put 3 cards into.
Yeah, because there are like cards are based on like their like this is a strength card, or this is a luck card.
So you can only put 3 strength cards into strength.
I think so. Yeah, I think that's the way it works.
And you can't, if you get like a luck card, but you don't have a spare luck point, you can't use that card.
I think when you start opening, I think it's giving you those cards like as you go.
What?
I think when you put a point into them,
Yeah.
it starts giving you like cards from that. I don't know. I can't remember.
All right. So let's say you start with 5 points.
You start a point in each category for the start of the game.
Oh. And so you start with a card for each category?
No, because you pick them up.
Yeah, okay.
As you go. I don't know how many cards it gave you. I'd have to go watch the fucking video again. But every time, at the start of the game, every like second level, you get a new pack of cards that you open up. And that sort of starts giving you more and more cards that you go. And then you start getting duplicates, and that's how you level up those cards.
Okay.
So if it's like a level 1 card, you get 2 of them, you now level up to level 2, and it's got more stats in there.
The Clash Royale system.
Yeah. So that's how sort of like the skill and perk system works. And then from there we left the vault. We were greeted by like a handyman.
Hang on, was this vault the same vault that you were actually in?
No.
Oh.
It's not.
Got it.
I can talk about that one later. So yeah, we leave the vault, and at this stage, our tour guide is already outside the vault, whereas the rest of us are inside still fucking around and collecting all our stuff. So we all started in there, and we left. We get out into the world, and yeah, you basically start exploring. You get given a quest like, hey, go find the Overseer's camp, and it shows up on the map, and you start heading off and doing Fallouty things. You come across a bunch of
Fallouty thing? Killing Deathclaws.
Yeah, killing Deathclaws and talking to people. So yeah, it was pretty much just exploring the world. We ran off. We found like straight off the bat, we found like this cabin which was infested by radiation dogs. And there's like a bunch of notes that are up there that tells you a bit about the lore and whatnot. You start collecting like weapons and ammo and junk, and from there we've got all this stuff that we've started collecting, and then we go to this camp, and your camp is sort of like this mobile base that you can build. And you start, like, there was a big building mechanic in Fallout 4 where you start putting like turrets down or building new houses, like fortifying everything, and that's sort
What
of
was that dickhead's name? The dude who constantly asks you to go do stuff. Was it Preston or something?
yeah, Preston's one of the names.
And that's why I didn't go back to the base that I built very much because he always like,
Was it New Haven or
we need
something?
to, we need you to get this. Oh, go and get this. Oh, this person needs help. I'm like, fuck off, idiot. Fuck you.
Yeah,
Don't tell me what to do. I'm the boss here.
you're not my mum.
You're not my dad.
Oh, spoilers. So yeah, start learning how to use this camp system, and it's like you can build workbenches and start putting like building, crafting armor, crafting new weapons or ammo, salvaging all your junk, and just basically building up this new base. So we learned how to do a bit of that sort of stuff.
Yep.
From there, we started heading down the road, and we met up with a Bethesda developer who had set up his own camp, like his own little house that he'd made, and he was like a trading outpost.
Okay.
And so he started trading with people, and he had a bunch of gear, and you can sort of look in their inventory and see what they've got. You can request things to trade with them. You can put prices on certain items to be like, all right, I want to sell this ammo for this much, and then people can buy that off you. And so he was like, this guy was actually trading with other people in my group, and I was sort of exploring his little house that he made. He had like some workbenches inside, like a power armor bench. A Vault Lady statue was sitting there. He had like a concrete Vault Boy statue out the front, and out the back he had like a crop field of corn. And so I stole all of his corn while he was busy, and then I went and traded with him, and I was trying to sell him the corn back. But I put it up for like a ridiculous amount of bottle caps. I was like 700 bottle caps for corn, and he wouldn't buy it, or she wouldn't buy it. I'm not too sure.
Right.
And then I gave him like a thumbs down as I was leaving.
Could you not like talk to them?
There is voice communication, but we didn't have.
Right.
We were talking to each other through headsets, our team.
Independent.
And so I don't know what the button was or whatever, but you can. It is proximity chat, so you can do that.
Okay.
Which is cool. From there we went to like a mine, and it was like infested with ghouls. And
wait. Did you like find out if she caught you stealing her shit?
Probably could have killed me.
Like, I assume she's level 60. I saw her in a video, a bunch of level 60s.
Maybe, yeah.
Right. Like, but could she have killed you if you didn't also engage in PvP?
She could have just murdered me.
Yeah, she could like plink you down, right? She could like
Yeah.
slow chip you. But if she caught you stealing from her, is she still bound by the same?
Well, there's no steal.
PvP?
It's not steal. I just took it.
Right.
It's not like you're
looted. Yeah.
I just looted it. It's like the same sort of mechanic with every other Fallout game or every other RPG. I think like Assassin's
Creed
Creed
is steal, right?
Was there?
You can steal in Skyrim and shit, and you can steal in Fallout. Yeah, of course.
Oh yeah, you're right.
If you go into owned places, private residences, you can steal, and it comes up as steal.
Yeah. I was trying to break her stuff or his stuff.
Right.
I was bashing doors. It wasn't doing any damage though, because I'm like level 2 or something running around. So I don't know. But I think that's a cool like concept of being able to fuck with people's stuff or like, and the consequences to that, like what can you actually do and get away with.
That's what I'm interested in as well, as a giant troll.
Yeah.
Speaking of giant troll, could you punch your party members?
Yes, you could find them.
Yeah.
I can talk about that later as well.
All right.
Yeah. So from here we went to a mine, and infested by ghouls. There was like a cage in there in one of the rooms, and we had to find like a locker key or a key to open it up, and it was hidden inside a locker. We jumped into there, and then our Bethesda tour guide locked us in the locker and told us that we shouldn't trust everybody. But luckily that there was a door, like a button to open the door on the inside, so she told us how to get out of there. So we left that area. And as we were working our way through this mine, we found another chest with a treasure map on it, like a rough drawing of a tree with like a river and a bridge and some sort of building off in the distance, and like an X on the ground. So there's something buried. You got to find this area. It's like the Red Dead thing, right?
Yep.
So then we left the mine, and as we were walking to the next area, coincidentally, we found like an area that kind of looked like where the map was. Yeah.
What?
It's crazy. And
crazy.
And so we found the treasure, and it had a bunch of shit in there that we got. And
What's looting like?
so it's you don't. It's not like Borderlands where you just steal shit from people. Everybody's independent, so you all get your own stuff. Yeah, that's what. And experience works, I think, similarly, where it is shared experience.
Right.
But I think the you have to either do damage on them.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe it's possible that the person that does the last or the most amount of damage gets more XP. Something like that, because I was out leveling everybody else in my team.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm not sure if it's because I was killing more things or because I was tagging more things.
Yeah. Okay.
But anyway, there's definitely shared experience, because there was points where I was not killing stuff and I was still getting experience. But yeah, it's something you need to play a bit more. Anyway, and we just kind of started exploring from there. We went off, and there's just a giant map, and you start getting quests. Like, once you do certain things, there are robots out in the world, like the handyman that is sort of out and about. I came across 2 of them that were just on a road talking to each other. You find audio logs, or audio recordings. There are certain areas you walk into, and it's sort of like an area event where it's like, you need to kill 20 of these things, or eradicate stuff from this area, or find these things, and it'll sort of show up on the map like where you should be looking for this event to sort of take place. So yeah, there are things that like that you do get quests, and there are things to go and do, and it seems like it is sort of guiding you to specific areas, mainly because later on we started wandering off into a completely different direction. It was like high level stuff there, so we weren't clearly supposed to be there, but the areas that we were in were low level, and we were doing quests and doing bits and pieces. This does seem to be like a sort of a main quest line or something like that, at least, which you can sort of go along with. But it's that thing of you talked about with Red Dead, right? You're out and exploring the world, and there's not markers like, hey, there's a question, or a dude with an exclamation mark, here's the quest giver. It's like, oh shit, what's this? You find this note in a cabin wall, and it's got this story on there, and then that triggers like something else, like a mission to go and do, which is, I think, it'll be interesting for you to play that after like talking about how you didn't like it in something with Assassin's Creed, where it's like there's just stuff everywhere. Like, where's the balance? But yeah, that seems to be a cool way. It's like a really exploration heavy game, which is cool.
All right, let's just pause for a second.
Yeah.
So you're killing you're killing 20 things, doing whatever, you're looting, getting experience, blah 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 blah. What's the ammo situation like? Is ammo management tough, or have you all got the same weapon and you're trying to scrounge for a bit of ammo? Or...
So sometimes you'll find like there is a shotgun over here, and it might just be sitting there. Like, who wants a shotgun? It's not like there's 4 shotguns sitting here. But sometimes it will be like there's a chest, and you'll open the chest, and it's got scrap in it. And then someone else will open it, and they can get the stuff out of it as well. Whereas other times it's like there's a specific weapon sitting here. Who wants that weapon? So like at stages, I was running around with like a hunting rifle, and a pistol, and I run out of ammo, and now I'm just using like a melee or something like that, or someone else is using a shotgun. So
you can trade with people, right? So if you ran out of ammo, someone could give you some pistol ammo.
Someone on my team, so I ran out of something, or I ran out of stims, or I needed food, which is something I haven't talked about. because there's like a whole food and water management system
Okay.
where you have to eat or drink.
Sure.
So yeah, you can trade with people in your team or trade with people not in your team. It's hard to say, like, only playing 3 hours, but at the start of the game we were definitely running low on ammo. It felt like you needed to sort of watch it, and I was getting that impression from a Bethesda dev who was meleeing quite a lot at the start of the game and not using her gun. Whereas I was just like, I'm gonna fucking shoot everything, and then 10 minutes later it's like, I'm out of ammo. Someone help.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, it does seem like there is that, and that plays into the PvP, which I can talk about later on as well.
1 second though. When you went into the other dev's house,
okay, yep.
could you like craft on his benches and shit?
Yeah, I think so.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
And you got to make your own ammo, I assume.
Yeah, use your
The primary way to
salvage
get ammo.
gear to use the stuff.
Do you need like a workbench for that kind of stuff, or like I'm just trying to work out like what kind of emergency situation, like you're 90% of the way through a fucking mission and or just a jaunt away from the base. Can you just make some extra ammo to get you through to the end? Or
so you'd be able to fast travel out back probably to your main base. Because your base, as far as I'm aware, it's portable as well.
Yeah.
So at the start of the game, you might be able to just pop it and be like, all right, here's my crafting bench. Let's all gear up here and whatever. Otherwise, you can fast travel back to somewhere, get your gear, and then fast travel back to your team.
Right. Okay.
Which you can fast travel to anybody in your squad at any given time.
Okay.
So from there, we started exploring a bit, went around. At one stage, another dev just showed up with like power armor and dropped a bunch of gear for us, and then waved and left.
Handy?
Yeah, I know, right?
Thanks, Robot Man.
Yeah. VATS, I'll talk about VATS. It runs in real time. So in the old games, VATS, you would kind of trigger it, and it would slow down time, or if you went further back into Fallout 3, pause time, right? Like completely stop time. Whereas Fallout 4 would slow it down. And in those games, you have an action point bar. You can target parts of enemies on the screen. There's like a hit chance percentage meter that's on the screen. And you can be like, I want to fire. And you click on certain either limbs or areas of the body. You start targeting enemies on the screen, and that uses a certain amount of action points. And then you press the button to activate it, and then they quickly start shooting and auto targeting things. So in Fallout 76, it's all real time. So it works on the fly. The numbers are constantly changing on the screen, like the percentage chance to hit something. It's always moving, always changing. I think it's a bit clunky. It's kind of weird to get your head around because you activate it and you're still moving around, but like, so your weapon's not near them, or like not even on there. Like you shouldn't be aiming at them.
The cursor's not over.
But it's still running, right? And so you start queuing up actions, or you start pressing the button to shoot, and it starts draining your action point bar. The problem here was that it was really hard to sort of gauge whether or not I was doing damage to some things. Like the damage feedback wasn't very great. Sometimes it seemed like it would trigger and you'd get the hit marker to say, hey, you hit something. And other times it was like, I'm not sure if I did that, mainly because now I'm back in VATS again and I'm queuing up my next action. And also because you've got 4 other people around you, it's also hard to gauge whether you hit them, because in the other games you'd hit them and you can see the health bar drain, right? Whereas this, it's the same thing, but you've got other people alongside you. Was it them shooting them, or was it you that was hitting them? So, and because it's based on percentage as well, it was like, I don't really know if I'm hitting this person or if it's someone else. Sometimes you'd hear the hit noise and other times you wouldn't. Again, this is a preview build. Maybe it was just a little bit buggy. I'm not too sure, but it just, the damage feedback I was getting from that didn't
So,
seem good.
how are the percentages affected? Did you have any idea on that, or
It seemed to be based off things like distance, and I guess,
speed of movement? Like how
yeah,
fast you were moving, how fast they were moving?
yeah, things like that, and also your abilities as well, because you can
Right.
have specific cards that are like, hey, you do, um, better with VATS 20% and shit like that. Same as
Yeah.
the other games where you could really stack up on VATS and use that as the main focus of killing things.
Yeah.
Or if they're like behind cover, then like all of a sudden VATS would switch off because you can't see them.
All right. Okay.
Like I think I was pretty worried about using VATS to just spot people and
Yeah.
shoot at them from fucking ages away.
Yeah.
This didn't seem to be the case. It seemed to be like you needed to be quite close to get a good percentage,
Right.
at least in the early game,
Yeah.
or at least and being able to target things that were near, like far away from you. Like it just wouldn't register them.
Yeah.
So that was good. Again, I don't know what it's like at the end of like as the game progresses, but it definitely was working at some certain circumstances, but it was just hard to gauge whether I was doing damage to things or not. So I'm sure they'll fix or work on that at least.
Yeah.
So yeah, we ended up going to the Greenbrier, which is where we stayed in West Virginia, the resort,
Yep.
which is a real life location, or it's a real location in the game. And
Yep.
this is the place I talked about where they set up a underground bunker below in case there was a nuclear attack. They could get all the presidential staff and Congress into this bunker that situated like 1,500 people, which I visited last 2 weeks ago, whatever. And so we went to Greenbrier. The detail in like I was able to go up towards my room, like work my way up towards my elevator and go up the elevator and whatnot. Was able to go towards the room where we were sitting, like playing the preview build of this game.
Yeah.
Like it was pretty detailed in terms of they got the layout correct. Like it felt like, oh, I know where I'm going. I can go here because we just spent like 3 days walking around this hotel.
Yeah.
It was super easy to navigate. So there's some good comparison shots. I think GameSpot did a video.
Yeah.
I know Adam Matthews put some stuff up on his article for Finder, like the comparisons between the resort we stayed at and the game, like what it looks like. I thought they did a pretty good job of doing that, which is fun.
Nice.
So after we left the Greenbrier, a bunch of us had hit level 5, and level 5 is the cap to start enabling PvP. Except for Adam. Adam was still level 4, but we had a plan. We had a plan for this, and we were probably in an area that we shouldn't have been. The whole place is sort of had friendly robots around them. Like they weren't attacking us, but the dev was like, "Do not shoot the fucking robots because they will turn and they will murder you, and I'm not going to help." But every once in a while, there'd be like this creature that come up, and it was like level 15. It's like we're fucked. But we'd sort of go together and be able to take it like as a team.
Okay.
Like it was taking a lot of bullets, but we'd kill it, which is cool. So we hit our level cap. We looked at the map to see sort of where we could go for our prey. I told Ziggy D earlier on that I was going to fuck with him and ruin his footage and just chase him around the entire day and murder him.
Nice.
And so we found Ziggy D on the map, and it was him. I Fall from Grace, who's a streamer, a Bethesda employee, and who was the fourth one? I can't remember.
Hunts or something? Or
Yeah,
I don't know. I watched the video. Yes.
Can't remember who the other person was. Anyway, so they were actually they had fast traveled back to Vault 76, and we're heading up to the north, and so we fast traveled back to Vault 76, which was the starting area, and we started chasing them, and they didn't realize that we were coming for them, which is kind of cool because at all times during the game you can see everybody else that's in the game. They're a yellow marker on the map, and you can basically go after them if you want to. And so we get to where they are, and they're at this like basically this giant like carnival, or this abandoned carnival that's sort of still up. Right, there's like a big Ferris wheel, and there's a lot of rides around the place. And they're I don't know what they're doing there, but they must be just like, hey, let's go check out this area. And meanwhile, we roll up and start shooting them. And the way PvP works is when you shoot somebody, they start taking chip damage, which is very minimal damage that you're doing to them.
Yep.
They get a notification that like they've been attacked. It shows up on the screen. The other person that you've attacked needs to engage and needs to shoot back at you. Once that happens, you then enable PvP for both players, and you start doing full damage to each other.
Yep.
And yeah, it's an interesting way to do it. So we started basically this like mini brawl in this carnival area, while Adam Matthews is running interference between everybody because he was still below level cap, so nobody could damage him and nobody could and he couldn't damage them. So people didn't realize this at this stage, and so they were just wasting ammo on him and shooting him, and nothing was happening. I thought it was hilarious.
It was hilarious, but it was a dog shit act.
It's pretty bad.
He's got a video up on his YouTube channel, and it's pretty funny. But yeah, it's some heinous shit. I can't believe the Bethesda employee allowed you guys to do that. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. So we roll up, and I start like fucking murdering people, and they're dropping as well. But I don't realize that there's a down state, and so it's showing up on my screen that we're killing people. But what happens is you down them, and then you need to shoot them again to kill them. But I didn't realize this at this stage. Like I just thought I was killing everybody. And so there was also another Bethesda developer that showed up amongst all of this, or maybe they were already there, and that's who this squad was going to. But they start reviving people. But like I'm not really sure what's happening, so I'm just still murdering everybody. I'm just like fucking Ziggy D's dead, and the Bethesda plays dead.
Yeah,
the Grace is dead. And this goes on for I don't know, like 10 minutes and whatnot. And I guess this is my main issue with the PvP, right? Is that it feels more like a contained deathmatch or like a area. Because what happens is you kill somebody and then they respawn pretty close to where the action or they died. On top of that, if for whatever reason they don't respawn in an area where they're nearby, they can just fast travel back to their teammate, immediately get back in the action. So it ends up what ends up happening is
Sea of Thieves problem, right?
Yeah, but probably worse. Because it's so much closer.
Because it's so much closer, yeah.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
And also, yeah, like the thing is that it starts turning into this thing of like, all right, I've killed somebody, they're back, and then you start engaging with them again. It resets that PvP. Like you've got to engage, and then they've got to engage back with you, and that fight starts again. So, and it's like, you start getting bottle cap rewards for killing people, and or if you die, you lose bottle caps, and it's like they lost 4 bottle caps, and the other person gets it. And so what happens is it's just this constant like fighting, and there's like you don't feel like anybody's winning in the fight because there's just people everywhere dying, respawning, and then you get to a point where it's like, fuck, I've got no ammo left, or I've got no health left, like stim packs. And so it now becomes a game of who's got the most ammo or who's got the most health to withstand all of this. And we got to a point where we all ran out of ammo. And so it was like, all right, well, I guess we're leaving then. And then sort of just everybody dispersed.
And I get like, obviously I wasn't there, but watching the video, I got the feeling that like you would almost be better off just dying. Like, how much does a stim pack cost?
I'm not sure.
If it's less than the amount of bottle caps you lose, then it's a negative to your economy to use a stim pack.
Yeah,
you're better off not using it and using it in PvE situations, just dying and fast traveling back.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
that's sort of how it felt, and yeah, I couldn't see like outside of for funsies, for griefing purposes. I couldn't see any purpose to the PvP.
Yeah, so I was using the stim packs just to be fucking with them, to be like, you're not killing me.
Yeah,
Like, I'm going to murder you guys over and over again,
yeah,
and you're
I'll
not going to
never
do
die.
anything.
Yeah,
I did die, I think, once or twice from, I think I got grenaded by somebody. I'm not sure who threw it. And,
there were two level 60 devs.
yeah, and yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe one of them.
They
Uh,
were firing in Grizz's video. They were shooting at people. So
Yeah. So yeah, like I don't know, man. I feel like, and obviously this is not the final game.
yeah,
It's a preview build. But what I would like to see happen, which is what they did with Sea of Thieves, they moved the spawn. Like if you died, you're out of there. See you later. Like
yeah,
you can't come back, or you can come back. It'll take your time. Now I think the way you fix this is, all right, you move them off into another area of the map, somewhere else they respawn far away. And you can't spawn back to your team. If they're in an engagement or they're being shot at, you can't fast travel to them.
yeah.
I think that's how that should change.
Because that would actually create a reason to do PvP as well. If you wanted to force someone out of an area,
Yeah.
then you could engage in PvP, and then they wouldn't be able to like be a part of that area. So if it was some sort of one of these timed events where you got to kill 20 things or whatever, you could and you rolled up on it, and people were killing the 20 things you wanted to kill, then you could kill them to bust them out and make things a bit easier for you.
Yeah. Because
Yeah,
there are events like that where,
right.
like, hey, here is a junkyard, which is one that we did. You capture it, and then it starts like a horde mode,
Right.
where you start building defenses or building platforms, and then after 2 minutes, horde starts coming at you. But
Yeah.
if you want, you can go and fuck with them, like another team's capturing this area. Like, all right, let's go get them, or let's go get the reward or whatever. But at the same time, it feels like you can't do that because you'd just be constantly spawning over and over
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see that be changed. I don't know if they'll change it though, because it sounds like the developers they kind of want to steer clear of maybe the PvP stuff as like people just going around killing each other. It seems like they want it more like a dueling system, which is how it felt when we were playing. Like, hey, I'm gonna duel you in Borderlands. Like, you go up and you melee somebody, and then they melee you back, and it's like, all right, let's have a duel. That's kind of
Yeah.
how it felt like in this, as opposed to like two teams running into each other and let's have a fight.
Yeah.
Because yeah, the respawn was so short, and it just wasn't really worth it, in my opinion.
That I feel like they're setting themselves up for it works in Borderlands because everyone's like theoretically on the same team at all times,
Yeah,
right? But you're not on the same team here, and so I feel like they're setting themselves up to like be in a situation where people get really upset.
Hmm.
Like if you think about like putting in all the hard work to do a horde mission or whatever, and then someone comes in and fucks up with your shit, that's going to be far more like annoying
yeah,
if all that happens is you did all of the work, got killed, respawned just close enough to watch them finish the mission,
Hmm.
right? If the situation was instead that you do all the work, you do you're not 80% of the mission, and then people come in and fuck your shit up, and you know that you won't be able to finish this mission, so you fight to the fucking death,
yeah,
right? That's a bit different.
yeah,
I think, yeah. Like I feel like by coddling people and protecting them from PvP, they're setting up griefing to be that much more impactful,
Hmm.
because that like griefing, like when there are in-game measures to prevent griefing, getting around those measures makes the griefing like that much worse for people.
yeah,
I say this as a fucking professional griefer.
yeah.
Uh,
And that's the thing, right? So we didn't talk about the other part of PvP, which is becoming a murderer.
Right.
That's the way that system works. Is if I engage with a person and they do not want to play PvP, I keep doing chip damage to them. Eventually, I'll end up killing them. and I don't know how much damage you do in the late game, but early game it was very minimal. Um, I think that later on, as you get like higher level, you're gonna do significant amount, like more damage. Like it's not gonna take
What?
50 shots to kill someone.
Yeah. So what are we talking? It took you 50 shots.
I didn't murder anybody. Like you can go watch my video, and I'm shooting Grace,
Yeah.
who has an axe. I
Yeah.
put a lot of bullets into her and do not much.
Yeah.
But there were murderers running around who were developers.
Right.
So I just don't know how much damage you do later on. So the way that works is if you don't engage and you kill somebody, you become a murderer. Everybody on the map disappears. You can't see them anymore.
Right.
You get marked as like a red icon on the map. Everybody can see you, and then you get a bounty on your head. If anybody comes and kills you, then they take the bounty, and the bottle caps comes out of your pocket. That's a cool idea. I like that. It's fucking awesome. Sounds so sick.
Yeah.
The problem with it is that if you are a murderer, you don't get anything. You literally get junk from people, and junk is used to craft stuff.
Yeah.
So if you want to be a murderer, it's extremely disincentivizes you to do that.
Yeah.
And I was pretty excited for this game, like the PvP stuff, because the stuff you can do in it sounded awesome. Until they made that announcement at QuakeCon and started talking about some of these systems, that's when I got like, this does
Yeah.
not sound like the game that I want to play. Like, or it
Yeah.
doesn't sound like the game that I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And it's not. It's and I talked to the developers about this. Like, to me, being a murderer sounds fun, but at the same time, you are giving them zero rewards, and there's no incentive or reason. Like, what is the appeal to be a murderer? And
Yeah.
they flat out said, like, they didn't really answer my question to start with, but they said, well, what's the appeal of being on the other end of that? Like, of being the one griefed all the time. It's like, yeah, but there's got to be some
How
sort
no?
of
There is a
incentive.
fucking reason though. There is a reason to be on the receiving end of that.
Yeah.
Holy shit! Like the fucking tension, the tension that it creates in the game. This idea that someone might decide to roll up and murder you, like to just sit there and chip away at you, and you have to make the decision as to whether or not you engage back or not. Like you have to, if they're a couple of levels higher than you got to fucking roll a dice and like make that decision
Yep.
or just sit there and let them chip. Like that's absolutely a meaningful fucking decision for a player to have. That's called fucking player agency. Like the idea that murderers like are purely griefing is like, I think, divorced from the reality of what PvP does in social games, because PvP is there to create a interaction between players that is deliberately hostile. And so by removing incentives to be like, if you look at DayZ, right, they tried to manage incentives for being a murderer, for being a bandit, right? But they quickly realized that what they didn't want to do was outright punish players for being bandit. They wanted to make it so that you would attempt to find like solutions where you could hostilely interact with other players. They wanted to create situations where you would be incentivized to hostilely interact with other players, but they wanted to disincentivize you from just randomly murdering people. And so instead of, at the very start of the mod, you got like a bandit mask, and you were automatically marked as a bandit wherever you went, and that meant that you were like a kill on sight victim. You were like someone that people would feel justified in killing on sight. And when someone did kill you on sight, it wasn't counted as a murder, it was just counted as a kill. And they had all these like systems in place to do all that kind of stuff. And they eventually got rid of it because what they found was, people would grief. They would specifically engage in combat, like they would shoot at you and deliberately miss. And as long as they didn't actually hit you at all, if you fired back and killed them, then you would be counted as a bandit.
Yeah.
So people would grief the system, and people will grief any system that there is. And they found that that was not an engaging way for people. Like people were feeling punished for being griefed, which is a lot worse than, what's the outcome for a person being griefed? Well, punishing them is far worse. But further than that, uh, like people who were in it to grief didn't feel disincentivized. They still got to loot the bodies and stuff like that. What they wound up doing instead was they damaged the gear on the player that was killed, and that wound up doing what they wanted to do in the first place, which was make people decide on the spot whether or not they're going to kill someone, or like if they did want to kill someone, if they were just in it to kill, then they were either going to have no ammo, or they're going to have to like really pick their shots carefully. So yeah, this idea that being griefed is a choice that you like is a choice that you make that is absent of any like actual incentive. That's insane to me, because yeah, like there's so much that kill on site bandits adds to a game like this.
Yeah.
That yeah, like removing any incentive at all is just, I think it's wrong. It's a mistake.
Yeah. So I just don't. Without having done much of that or any of that at all, I just don't get the appeal or the reasoning. Like, there's no reason because you're losing out on killing people, other than just to grief them. I feel like there should be something there at least, or some sort of reward.
Yeah,
which is strange. I mean, maybe they'll change it. Maybe the feedback will change. There's plenty of time left. So yeah, that was sort of like the PvP stuff. So like, it's not a huge part of the game at the moment. It's very minute. Like, it's the main part seems to be the Fallout stuff, which is what the people want, and the PvP stuff seems to be like an added extra bit that's in there. But it could, I feel like it could be something that's awesome if they tinker around with it a bit more. So yeah, that stuff's cool. What else was there, man? Like, the nuke. We saw a nuke go off.
Yeah, that was cool.
So this is like a world thing where you're going out and you're collecting codes, nuclear codes, and I think they're dropping from like high level enemies in certain areas. And eventually you get a certain amount of them, or you can put them together with your team. So say you've got 3 codes and I've got 2 or something like that. We can combine them to go and launch one of these nukes. And there is a bunch of facilities spread out throughout the map where you go and can launch these nukes. And you can select on the map where you want it to drop. And I only know this because I've seen the video that they released at QuakeCon of sort of how this system works. But anyway, so they kind of gathered us back at Vault 76, and it had like a 2-minute countdown saying that a bomb was being dropped, and it shows you on the map where it's being dropped. It's like, get the fuck out of this area. And eventually the bomb drops. It just basically fills up the entire screen of like a mushroom cloud with like leaves rushing at you, and a giant blast sort of hits the area, and it fills the area with radiation. As far as I'm aware, you need like suits to go in there, maybe power armor or something like that, and that leaves high level resources in that location. And also high-level enemies that are guarding it. So it's apparently supposed to be very good. I don't know, because that's sort of where our demo ended. But they were just kind of teasing that whole thing. It looks cool. It's an interesting mechanic that I'm definitely keen to check out a bit more.
Like, if you can drop a nuke on someone's base, how is that not griefing?
Yeah.
Right? Like, how are they not being griefed if they've just been fucking nuked? It seems like a much bigger grief than
than killing somebody.
Killing someone once. Like, destroying all the shit they made seems like a pretty hefty fucking grief effort.
And that's the other thing we don't know, is like, how will combat logging work in terms of that? Like, what if someone does drop something on my base? Can I just leave?
Yeah.
Or is there a... If I drop a nuke, is there like, you can't move your base now? You've got 2 minutes, you need to stay here, or something like that. Like, what's there to stop people? I didn't get a chance to ask any developers any questions other than that one question, so I don't know how any of this stuff works, and I guess we'll find out during the beta. But yeah, So going back to the thing about did I go in any nuclear facilities before? No, but I think there is one at the Greenbrier. It would make sense because they took us there, and it's known that there's a fallout shelter under the Greenbrier. So it would be my guess that there is actually a nuclear facility under that location. So yeah,
Cool.
But otherwise, like I had fun playing it. Like,
Tell me about the food and water.
yeah, so the way that works is you need to eat items or drink items in the world. There were, at certain occasions, we'd go into a town and there'll be a water pump that you can drink water from.
Is it radiated?
I don't think so. I don't think the one we had was radiated.
Because traditionally in Fallout, all the water is radiated.
Yeah. I know that there was water I went swimming in, and that was definitely radiated.
Right. Yeah.
But I think the water pumps were not.
Okay.
And that basically puts your food and drink back up to full after you eat and drink certain things. If it drops below a certain threshold, then that starts affecting some of your stats.
Okay.
There's radiation in the game. You can become diseased or start mutating. Some of those mutations can have negative effects. Some of them can have positive effects. You can cure some of this stuff if you want to, which is cool. I think I heard somebody talking about they had some sort of mutation that made them jump really high.
Cool.
Or I'm not sure if that was a mutation or a perk. Rob Whitaker, who was on the trip with us, I got some cool stories about that. He just wanted to punch cunts. That's what he was saying all weekend. He just wanted to punch people. That's what he does for a living. He just wanted to punch people in Fallout. And he did that. There's a good article up by Matt from Pedestrian talking about his experience with Rob playing Fallout, because they were on the same team. Unfortunately, they were supposed to be on our server, but one of their ringings on their team picked the wrong server, and they didn't realize until an hour, 40 minutes into the demo that they had jumped into the wrong server.
Just one ticket.
So they all had to leave and then join the person that picked the wrong server. So anyway, because my idea was, let's go beat the shit out of Rob. And it's a good thing that I didn't, because he was fucking destroying people.
Oh yeah.
He put all his perks or all his stats into strength. He found he had some cards that like boosted his melee up as well, or his melee weapons, and he was just running around with an axe, just destroying people. Awesome. To give you an idea, I finished the demo, I think, at level 6.
Yeah.
He finished at level 9. And he would just go in and like
shit.
He would just like run in PvP, and people would be shooting at him, and he would not get any damage, and he'd like two-shot them with an axe, because he just stacked his points up so hard in this one thing. We were out at dinner later on the next night or that night, I can't remember, and we were on a table with Europeans, and this European guy was talking about how someone rocked up with an axe and just murdered a bunch of them. It was Rob. It was so funny.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it's cool to hear like interesting stories of being able to be like, you can just play the game as melee if you want, and just roll up and fuck people up. Or people that don't know how to play the game. So yeah,
that's true.
It's cool.
Cool. Food, water. How often do you have to eat and drink?
Not a lot. I think we did it twice during our play session, which was not a lot. So,
can you get fat?
No, no, you can't get fat.
Can Red Dead?
Yeah, not as.
Okay. That's. Are there any vehicles or anything?
There are vehicles around. As far as I'm aware, you can't drive them.
Out shells of cars.
Yeah, you can explode them.
Right, yeah.
We died to a vehicle explosion at the Greenbrier. Where we were shooting a giant monster.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that worked. Yeah, man, I'm not sure what else to say. Like, it's.
What about when you're shooting a giant monster? If you like run away, how fast does it reset?
Does it reset?
Does it reset?
I'm not sure because we went to a part of the map which was towards the bottom right. You know it's a bad area because it was red, like a red
Oh, okay.
area. And we were in this spot because Adam went for Wonderbouts and he was like, "There's a fucking giant scorched beast here," and the developer hadn't seen one of them yet in the play session, so we
Cool.
fast traveled to Adam, and yeah, there was a giant scorched beast in the air. It was a level 50. It had a fucking skull on it, so I'm guessing it was pretty high level. And
Sure.
then three more rocked up,
Ha!
and then some sort of T-Rex looking motherfucker strolled in, and then they started fighting each other.
Awesome. Awesome. Did you record this?
I think Adam's got it on
Awesome.
his playthrough. At least he was, because it was, I couldn't see it on my screen, and
Yep.
I got up. Not only did I get up, but the Bethesda developer got off her chair. Three other developers came over and were like watching this battle go on on Adam's
Awesome.
screen,
Sick.
because it was seemed to be quite rare whatever was going on. So yeah, the enemies within the world were like fighting each other and interacting,
Sweet.
which is cool.
Could you loot whichever one lost?
Well, we got fucked by this thing. It was destroying us because we were level like 6 and it was 50
Yeah.
something, and there was three of them,
Yeah.
and there were also robots around that were destroying us.
Ah, okay.
And we couldn't
Fair
stick around too long because that's when we went and watched the nuke blow up.
Bummer.
But yeah, so I'm not sure about like if there's a reset on specific things chasing you, or if it's like
Yeah.
this is the area that they float around in. Can I fucking kite it back to somewhere else, to some other team? Yeah,
That'd be funny.
things to play around with.
What else? What else? What else? What else? So it sort of, to me, sounds like the Forest 76.
Right.
Is that fair? Like, I guess more level focused, but like ultimately you're working together. Ultimately, you're just trying to survive.
Well, you don't have to. You can play the game solo if you want.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But you can play the Forest solo.
Yeah, right. Um,
Right?
I
Like, is that the closest? What would be the closest comparison?
maybe because the thing about it is that it's that thing of like exploring, right? Like going
Yeah.
around and whatnot. The forest didn't have quests really. It was just exploring and just finding all this weird shit that was going on.
Yeah.
And it sort of took you from one area to another. Whereas this is like,
Sort of quests. Like not like constructed, not like structured quest systems, but they'd like you were sort of being pointed in
the direction.
directions, right?
Yeah. Whereas this is like, you've got 16 quests.
Right.
Go do them. And
Yeah.
you can. The thing I like, and something I don't like about like Assassin's Creed, is being able to see the quests that you want to see. It's not just one. I fucking
Yeah,
hate systems that do that, where
definitely.
you're like, I'm in an
Oh my
area,
God.
just show me the quests in this area. Anyway, Fallout does that. You can be like, I'm in an area, I want to be able to see these 6 quests, and I'm going to disappear all the others. That's cool. And then you can look at your map and see like, all right, where should I be looking for this stuff? What's good? So
What's the end game look like?
I don't.
Did anyone
I didn't.
talk about that or?
I didn't play it. I don't know.
Yeah, but they didn't they do a big fucking presentation and shit? Like,
No.
what are you working
We
towards?
we
What?
did.
Like,
So the nuke stuff is like end game content.
but what?
I don't know
What
what
for?
happens at the end. Like, is there's fucking raids or something like
Yeah,
that?
right.
I don't know.
Fair enough.
I mean, maybe they're
Weird.
keeping that surprise. Maybe there is nothing. Maybe it's super shallow. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But the stuff
So I
that
guess right, there was nothing. There was nothing at the end of Sea of Thieves, yeah. Right, and
mean,
that's I guess my biggest worry about Fallout 76 is that you'll get to the point where you get to the end game, you feel like you've, I mean, short of them excessively lengthening the time it takes to level up,
Yeah.
which is what they did in Sea of Thieves.
well, there's no leveling
Um,
Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, but you leveled up the quest givers.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was excessively lengthened so that they could like maybe get to a point where they were able to fucking implement some sort of end game by the time you got there. Like, short of them doing that, there has to be some sort of something at the end, right? Like, there has to be something that you're working towards.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. They're just being very secretive about it, if
Yeah,
there
okay.
is.
Fair enough.
So I don't know. Yeah,
Alrighty.
I don't know. It's a hard one.
Alrighty.
I feel like people that like Fallout are gonna like it, certain aspects of it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, right? Is that
I like Fallout.
yeah, everybody. It's weird, right? Because you and I were and our crew that plays games were super pumped for this, mainly because of the PvP idea of just fucking with people, because that's what we enjoy doing. But you go to QuakeCon and listening to the audience reactions to the things that the developers are doing to stop that stuff, they were so excited, and because they don't, it seems like they don't want that. They want Fallout, and they're not like we don't want the multiplayer PvP stuff to be a big focus. We want it sort of like a side thing. So I'm curious to see when this game comes out, sort of how they react to it, because like there's a lot of Fallout stuff there. It's just that the stuff that I want out of it personally it doesn't seem to be there at the moment.
Yeah.
Sorry, the PvP stuff at least. The rest of it seems it's Fallout. It's like it's got the same shit. So, yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and we'll see how the story sort of pans out, right? It's going to be hard. I think it'll be hard for them because there's no human players to interact with. It's all robots.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be interesting to see how that one like people react to that part of it. But yeah, man, there seems like there's a lot of stuff to do in that game. So
I think if we can find the same sort of fun that we found in the forest,
yeah,
then we'll probably have fun with it. But
sure.
it's definitely not what I was expecting, because I was expecting fucking, the same way Blackout is PUBG by a developer that knows what the fuck it's doing. I was sort of expecting DayZ by a developer that knew what the fuck it was doing.
Right.
Maybe and I knew that there was going to have to be concessions, right? There's going to have to be sacrifices along the way to the altars of accessibility and mainstream gaming. But I sort of expected that they would go down that route. But I don't think that. I think the forest by a developer that knows what the fuck it's doing, it would be still pretty awesome.
Sure.
And that's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
If I just abandon the idea of ever doing any PvP, then I still think there's appeal, right? It's just a different appeal than what I had sort of set it up for.
Yeah, it's the exploration, like the going out and seeing. Like there was a part where we came across 50 bird cages, or like tiny, not bird cages, like bird houses.
Still weird.
Yeah, just like on a tree, and it's like, what the fuck is going on here? And I'm sure there's a story behind that, but it was just something we walked past. We found like a lighthouse that we went up, and sort of I went to the top and looked out and around, and there's like, what's all that smoke over there coming from? Like there's shit like that. But I think that's going to be the cool stuff, going out and exploring and seeing what's going on.
I do sort of wonder, like if there isn't some sort of end goal to get to. I mean, you look at the stuff that an achievement in a game of the forest, in a session of the forest, right, was finding an axe or completing a wall. Like, I think our goal setting in the forest was part of what made it fantastic.
Yeah.
Right. And without any end game to speak of, I do wonder if goal setting is going to wind up being a critical failure with Fallout 76. But obviously,
it might not.
We will have to wait and see what they actually put together, right?
It might. I mean, we could be thinking too much. Like, the forest did not have much of an end game. Like the story kind of ended, and we were like, "That was pretty fucking crazy," and then we sort of stopped playing it. I don't like. Does Fallout need to have end game? If we get 60 hours out of it,
it needs to have an ending. It needs to have an ending, doesn't it?
Sure.
But if we get 60 hours out of it, like we did with the forest, and it ends there, I'd still be fucking happy with it. I think I heard somewhere that they wanted this to be like a big thing, like a 10-year game or some
Oh
shit.
yeah, they're talking about like running this for like a thing, but at the same time, there's nothing to say. And then they're going to be doing mods, right? So there's nothing to say somebody doesn't come out with a server, a
Yeah,
dedicated server that's like, here's our PvP mode, and then that's the fucking PvP mode that we end up playing. Like it's
right.
maybe it's the same game, but the PvP's changed.
Always
It's
on.
called hardcore mode or some shit like that. Nothing
Yep.
to say they don't do that. With dedicated servers and mods. So yeah, I mean, there's potential there. There's definitely potential. Yeah, I'm definitely keen to play more and see what you
So,
guys think. Because
yeah,
at the
I'm
same
definitely keen
time,
to get in.
it's hard to play 3 hours of an 80-hour RPG and be like, yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty good. Like I don't know.
yeah,
I've seen a super small snippet of it.
yeah. True.
Um,
I'm surprised they didn't give you like level 60 characters and let you see what it's like to be gods in that world or whatever.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Right, that was a lot.
That was a lot. Holy fuck.
Cracking on 3 hours.
Good effort.
Should we do some news?
Let's do some news. We
What have
haven't
we
got
got?
much.
Yeah,
Call of Duty is going on sale early at retailers. Hang on.
sneeze. I
Sorry.
wasn't even watching. I knew that was coming.
Yeah. Yeah, Call of Duty is going on sale early at retailers.
2 hours from now.
Is it 2 hours
Two
from
and a
now?
half
Fucking-
hours.
Yeah, 2.5 hours. So 6 o'clock, it will be on sale. You'll be able to pick it up, and you'll be able to play it from midnight. And yeah,
No, not from
uh,
midnight.
not if it's on console, you're playing from
On
midnight.
console, yes.
Yeah.
I'm talking about
If
PC.
you're
Man.
on
I'm talking
PC,
PC here.
sorry, my bad. If you're playing on PC, what is it? 3 o'clock.
I think it's tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah. So you'll be able to play from tomorrow afternoon. Yeah. I'm hoping I get a code, but I haven't heard anything yet. So might have to buy a copy and then install it. Although I'm already installed, and yeah, check it out from there. I like this in particular because of the question from last week. Was it last week or the week
I think
before?
it's 2 weeks ago.
Johnny Bravo asked why companies aren't handing out games early uh,
For
and allowing
multiplayer
people
games.
to pre-load. Yeah, multiplayer like focus games. And the most immediate example he gave was Black Ops 4. And they're doing it. He's a fucking wizard. No, he's a witch, and we're going to burn him at the stake. Sorry, JB, the time has come. Yeah, you're going to get burned at the stake. Fucking weirdo.
It was a
Yep.
weird move, right? Because this came out, and
Hmm.
then it was sort of like, what is going on here? It's super strange. And then some of the other regions started doing the same thing. Like they're going to be doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, as it turns out, it's because of the sounds like the 50 gigabyte download.
There's a 50 gig day one patch, and it's a 60 gig preload. So hopefully this day one patch is allowing them to do incremental fucking updates because Jesus Christ, if every single fucking patch is going to be 60 goddamn gigabytes, that's going to be rough on a lot of Australians. It's not going to be rough on me because I got unlimited. I believe it'll be rough on you, Luke, won't it? You've still got fucking some crazy data limit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be rough. It's going to be a tough one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, hopefully they will. Yeah, this is the only 50 gig patch that they need to do, but it is a 50 gig day one patch for Call of Duty if you're getting into it tomorrow, which is crazy. Crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's a cool idea. Like for a multiplayer game that they're just like, hey, we're just going to
Absolutely.
sell it.
Yeah, do it.
Buy it
Fuck
whenever.
yeah. Then what else have we got? Next gen hardware is in production at Sony. Not a lot to this. Just confirmed that they're working on next gen hardware. Obvious, like my gut says it'll be called a PlayStation 5,
You'd think so, right?
but who can tell? Yeah, they have to be basically. The Pro is a good incremental update, but yeah, at this stage, with the way that technology is going, they're obviously going to have to keep increasing. They want 4K as the default for their their platform,
Sure.
and yeah, about it.
Yeah, well, we're on 5 years now for this life cycle. We're probably aiming towards, what was it last? 8?
8, yeah.
Probably 8, 9.
Yep.
I mean, would it surprise you if we heard about something next E3? Next year would be 6. So maybe not. Maybe we're still 2 years away.
I reckon 2 years away. But
Yeah. I mean, there's talk about, like Microsoft came out at this E3 and said,
Yep.
by the way, we're working on a new console.
yeah,
They may come out sooner,
true.
mainly because they're behind this generation.
Yeah, it would be a good jump start.
Yeah, it
Good
could be a
head
good
start.
jump start for them.
Yep.
So I guess we see, right? See what happens.
Yeah. And we've got Borderlands 2 is getting the VR treatment. It's coming out on PSVR first, which is a little annoying, I find, personally. But like I would prefer it traditional. But that's because that's what I got. I guess if I had a PlayStation VR and I didn't have a Vive, then I'd prefer it came out on PlayStation first. Looks like they're going all out to tweak it so that it works on VR properly. They're working hard to make sure that the control system is good, and because it's single player only now, there's no co-op in it, which I feel is a bit of a, I don't know. It's not like there aren't multiplayer fucking VR games, so I don't really understand why, but whatever. They're tweaking all the perks so that they're better for the VR system, and they don't perks that were co-op targeted are no longer co-op targeted. I think they're tweaking them so they're now VR targeted instead. But yeah, it seems like they're putting a lot of effort in to make it work properly on VR, which I think is cool. But yeah, I'm obviously just gonna have to wait until it hits Vive. I'll check it out. I love Borderlands. I love Borderlands 2. Yeah, I'm interested to see how it
The
goes.
pre-sequel.
Yeah, not really. I
It's
wasn't a
fine.
fan. It was fine.
It's fine. I can give it a 7.
Yeah. But yeah, that's about it.
Cool.
Cool.
Is that the news?
That is the news.
Any questions?
No questions.
Oh, that's all right.
Unless we got an email, let's have a quick squiz at the email.
I don't think we did.
I will have a quick squiz at the email, Luke.
Okay. Fair enough.
We didn't.
That's what I said.
We did not.
That's fine, because we can wrap this up then.
We can.
3 hours. Right on 3 hours.
Nailed it. Bingo, bango.
Killed it. The Gap, you can find us on iTunes, Android, Windows Store. Under The Gap, the GA Podcast. One of those. We're definitely on there. If you want to send us emails, you can do that. The GA Podcast at gmail.com. If you want to find us on social media, you can go to facebook.com/the GA Podcast, twitter.com/the GA Podcast. We also have a YouTube channel now. youtube.com/user/the GA Podcast. Something like that.
Surely not. No, it's just youtube.com/the GA Podcast.
Oh, is that what it is?
Surely. Let's have a look. youtube.com/the... Yep. Nope, that's not it. The GA Podcast. Straight up.
All right.
Works perfectly.
There you go. That's what I thought it was.
You should make, you should chuck up a fucking highlighted video as our primary video. And you should stop liking other videos as the GA Podcast, you huge dork.
I don't like other videos, do I?
Game of Zones, Season 1, Episode 1.
Game of Zones?
Yep.
What's that?
It's that Game of Thrones NBA parody.
That was definitely you.
It was not me. I've got my own fucking YouTube
I don't
account.
watch it.
What?
I don't watch Game of Zones.
It's from 4 years ago,
Okay,
so...
maybe I did.
Anyway.
I don't watch Game of Thrones. What are you talking about?
Look, stop making excuses.
Yeah.
So
go there. Go check it out. We're on video now. Or at least for this one. We'll see what happens. Maybe it's like a 60 gig file. And I'll be like, oh, I don't know about that. Should have done it in
crazy.
4K.
Yep.
Yeah, and subscribe. Smack that thumbs up. You can say it, Joe. You love it.
Smack that like.
Smack that like.
Subscribe. Hit that subscribe button, baby. Yeah.
Joe, you got to eat.
I gotta eat, baby. And We get $1 per 1,000 views on YouTube. Actually, we don't get any money. So.
No, we don't get anything. We're just starting. You watch out. We want to go to those events. We'll be flying around and shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Next time I can go to the Fallout 76 thing as well.
77.
77. Genius.
Sequel.
Good thinking.
Yep. So youtube.com/GA podcast. You can go to our Discord page if you want. The GApodcast.com/Discord. We got a bunch of channels up there playing games. We're going to be playing Blackout this weekend. We are definitely playing.
Yes.
So if you listen to this, you want to play some Blackout. I'm sure we'll have multiple squads. It sounds like we had multiple squads running during the beta. So jump on.
Sweet.
It'll be fun. And what else we got here? You can go to our website, thegapodcast.com. It's got all the links to the things we just talked about, including past episodes of the show. That's all thanks to our Patreon members. If you want to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/thegapodcast. Thank you to everyone that does that every month. It helps us pay the bills.
You are the best.
Yep. And I think that is all the spruiking that I need to do.
Solid.
You got anything you want to pimp out? Any work?
No.
No. What, haven't you been busy? You're working on something? Is that not going to be ready?
Yeah, it doesn't go up, so
right.
You can't check it out. Yeah, that's the worst thing. All this hardcore work, and nobody can even look at it. No. Have a look at the WWE Came to My House by The Last Gamer on YouTube. I thought that was a really cool video. It's shared on our Discord. Check that out. If I'm gonna pimp anything,
I had a quick browse through that. I don't know who that person is. Are they in Melbourne?
They're some YouTuber. Like? Yeah, obviously in Melbourne. That house is fucking bananas. That is it's like a fucking museum of video games. It's fucking sick.
Yeah, he's just started a video show.
Yeah, it's awesome.
He's competition, Joab. Competition.
Oh, sorry. My house is way better, and the WWE should come here next time. They can look at the Jesus picture, and other things as well.
Cool. Your Batarang?
My Batarang, yep. What else is back there?
Looks like the NBA 2K boombox.
It's fucking sick.
Yeah.
That's all I got. Actually, that's a Mafia 3. What do they call it? Knapsack, I guess.
Yep.
No, it's huge. Anyway.
Right.
That's it. Let's wrap this up.
Cool. For me, press start. Go to Google, type that in, press start Australia. I wrote about Fallout.
Google.
There might be some interviews going up, or an interview. I sent them 30 minutes of video as well for Fallout 76. Otherwise, you can go to my YouTube page, and I put a picture of a video of me being a bit shit at Fallout, which is something I didn't talk about. But anyway, you can go watch it.
Well then.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it. What's happening next week? Blackout. I guess we'll talk about Blackout.
It's all Blackout all day.
It's all Blackout.
We'll have to try and drag ourselves away from Blackout to try and play some of the rest of Black Ops 4, I suppose, but it'll be mostly Blackout.
Yeah. I don't even know what the other modes are in that game, so...
The zombies?
Yep.
Multiplayer? Like generic multiplayer?
Right.
I don't care about it. But I don't care about it. Alright.
Cool. That's it. Thanks everyone listening or watching.
Yeah, thank you.
Give us some feedback, I guess.
Let us know. What do you think of either?
Do you want something else? I mean, we can start putting fancy videos and shit on while we're talking. I don't know. If we went up, that sounds like too much hassle.
Way too much hassle.
What if we blue screen Joab's house and then we put a volcano in the background?
What if we get a green screen, put it behind me, and we have it replicate what's behind the green screen? Like
take a photo, like in Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible, yeah.
Right.
Should do that.
That way, if anybody comes into the room,
you
just don't know.
You won't be able to see them.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
That sounds like a waste of money.
Money that we have now that we're up on YouTube. Money we will only have if you smack that like button and hit subscribe.
That's it. So, all right.
I'm gonna go do the kitchen. I'm so excited.